My husband's first love was pregnant, and she came to our house begging him to take her in. I refused. That very night, she jumped from an overpass, killing herself and the unborn child. Later, my husband asked me to go bungee jumping with him. The moment he pushed me off, he whispered in my ear, "If you hadn't heartlessly driven Bai Tang away back then, she wouldn't have taken her own life. You owe her this." He took out a pair of scissors, cut the rope, and I fell to my death from a great height. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day his beloved showed up at my door, pregnant and begging for shelter. I smiled and said, "What a coincidence, I'm pregnant too, let's take care of ourselves together." One, knock, knock, knock. A series of knocks came from outside the door. I jolted awake from my sleep. The nightmare I just had sent a chill through my entire body. I dreamed that Zhou Jingqing took me bungee jumping. The moment he pushed me off, he pulled out a pair of scissors. His face twisted with hatred as he said, "Ji Huan, if you hadn't heartlessly driven Bai Tang away back then, she wouldn't have been driven to take her own life. You owe her this life. Die." Zhou Jingqing used the scissors to cut the cord, and I plummeted to my death from the great height. The knocking at the door was incessant, followed by a familiar voice calling out, "Zhou Jingqing, are you home?" I snapped back to reality. That was Bai Tang's voice. Bai Tang was the girl Zhou Jingqing had a crush on in college. In my past life, half a year after I married Zhou Jingqing, she showed up at our door. She said she was pregnant, and the father of the child refused to acknowledge it, let alone marry her, but she was determined to have the baby, and with nowhere else to turn, she came begging Zhou Jingqing to take her in. At the time, I was also pregnant, and I naturally had no desire to let Zhou Jingqing's first love move in with us, so I gently turned her down. Bai Tang left, dejected. That day, Zhou Jingqing gave me the silent treatment. He didn't say a word, but his actions made it clear. He blamed me for not taking Bai Tang in. That very night, Zhou Jingqing received a call from Bai Tang. Over the phone, Bai Tang said to him, "Jingqing, are you going to abandon me too? I have nothing left to live for in this world. I'm on the overpass now. I'll see you in the next life. Bai Tang, don't do anything rash, wait for me. I'm coming." Zhou Jingqing was in the middle of dinner. He immediately put down his chopsticks, grabbed his car keys, and rushed out. I watched Zhou Jingqing leave the house in a panic, driving off towards the overpass Bai Tang had mentioned. My heart sank. Zhou Jingqing didn't return until daybreak the next morning. Slumping into the living room armchair to smoke, I came out of my room and asked him, "How is Bai Tang?" "She's dead. 2 lives lost with her." Zhou Jingqing's eyes were red, filled with nothing but remorse and regret. "Ji Huan, you shouldn't have turned her away. Our home had room enough for one more. How could you be so cruel?" I shot back, "Zhou Jingqing, you think this is my fault? There are plenty of hotel rooms. Why did she have to stay at our place?" He said nothing, just buried his head and smoked. After that, we were locked in a cold war for a while. As the child in my belly grew bigger, he began to reflect on his own actions. He realized it wasn't my fault. He bought a whole car full of flowers to apologize to me. He took my hand and said, "Ji Huan, I was wrong. It was Beidong who couldn't see past it herself. I shouldn't have blamed you. For the sake of the child in my belly, I endured it." After that, he never brought it up again and focused on building a life with me. He made me soup every day, but I still lost the baby. I was utterly devastated. He comforted me, saying, "Ji Huan, don't be sad, we'll have another child. Let me take you bungee jumping. They say the moment you leap from that height, all your troubles just vanish." I went bungee jumping with him, hoping to shake off the gloom in my heart, yet he dealt me a fatal blow. It turned out he had never let go of Bai Tang. He resented me so deeply that he pushed me from a great height. Before shoving me over, he told me with cruel satisfaction, "Do you know why you couldn't keep the baby? Because I put intensely cold herbs in the soup I made for you." Remembering these past events, I trembled with rage. He actually harmed his own flesh and blood for the sake of Bai Tang. I got out of bed, drew back the curtains, and looked out the window. I was reborn, returned to the very day Bai Tang showed up at my door, pregnant and begging for shelter. 2. Zhou Jingqing left for work first thing this morning and isn't home. I took the pregnancy test report from the drawer. I'm currently 2 months pregnant, I thought to myself. What if I had been reborn before I married him? I would have called off the engagement without a second thought. This child is coming at the wrong time. Bai Tang shouted from outside the door, "Zhou Jingqing, are you there? Xia Ji Huan, are you home? Open the door." I put away the pregnancy test results and leisurely went to the bathroom to wash up. I heard Bai Tang pick up her phone to call Zhou Jingqing. "Wah, Jingqing, are you busy? I'm at your door right now, but Ji Huan won't let me in." What happened? Don't cry, Zhou Jingqing replied to her over the phone, wait for me. I'm coming right back. After Bai Tang had waited outside the door for a full 20 minutes, I opened it and looked at her. Can I help you? A suitcase was sitting by Bai Tang's feet. She placed a hand on her stomach and said to me, Jihuan, I'm pregnant, the father doesn't want the baby, and I have nowhere to go, could you and Jingqing take me in? I wasn't close to Bai Tang, we'd only met once. She came to our wedding. Back then, I didn't know she was the girl Zhou Jingqing had a crush on in college. Had I known Zhou Jingqing had a cherished, unforgettable first love, I would never have married him. Zhou Jingqing is on his way back. I pulled Bai Tang inside and said with a gentle smile, what a coincidence, I'm pregnant too, let's take care of ourselves together. Bai Tang looked at my stomach impressed, how far along are you? Does Jingqing know? It's been over 2 months. And he still doesn't know. I don't plan on telling him yet. No sooner had the words left my mouth than footsteps sounded outside the door. Zhou Jingqing was back. Seeing Bai Tang and me sitting on the sofa, he froze for a moment, then let out a sigh of relief. He went to pour Bai Tang a glass of water, his tone laced with unmistakable concern. Bai Tang, what brings you here? Is something wrong? I'm pregnant, and I have nowhere else to turn. I was hoping I could stay with you for a while. After saying this, Bai Tang glanced at me and added, Sister Jihuan has already agreed. Zhou Jingqing was taken aback. He pulled me into the study, closed the door, and asked, Jihuan, do you really agree to let Bai Tang stay with us? I replied generously, yes, she has nowhere else to go. If we don't take her in, what if she does something desperate? Besides, we have 3 rooms. It's not like we're short on space. Jihuan, you're so generous, Zhou Jingqing said, his eyes crinkling with delight. He wrapped his arm around my waist and leaned in to kiss me. I felt a wave of disgust and subtly pushed him away. He smiled and said, you're right. We have plenty of rooms, let her stay for a while. 3. Zhou Jingqing walked into the living room and asked Bai Tang how she was doing. Bai Tang said she hadn't had breakfast yet. Zhou Jingqing immediately tied on an apron and went to the kitchen to cook breakfast for Bai Tang. He mentioned he'd go to the supermarket later to buy chicken to make her some soup. He also asked Bai Tang what kind of fruit she liked. Bai Tang said shyly, you know what I like, cherries, strawberries, and durian. Preferably Musang King durian. Zhou Jingqing responded with gusto, alright, I'll buy them all for you later. I couldn't help but roll my eyes in my room. Cherries are so expensive these days, I can't even bring myself to buy any, and a Musang King durian costs hundreds. How could she have the nerve? Zhou Jingqing cleared out the spare bedroom for Bai Tang to stay in. He walked over and greeted me, Jihuan. I'm taking Beidong to the supermarket, do you want to come? I tried my best to hold back. No, I won't go, you two go ahead. Zhou Jingqing nodded, alright, then tidy up the house, I'll buy your favorite oranges for you, go on. I watched coldly as Zhou Jingqing and Beidong left. After they left, I quickly packed a few things and dialed a number I hadn't called in a long time. Shen Yuan, are you free right now? Can we meet up? Shen Yuan replied without hesitation, sure, where are you? I'll come pick you up, no need, let's meet at the cafe. I can get there myself, Shen Yuan replied cheerfully, alright. I took a cab to the coffee shop to meet Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan was my university classmate and was the heartthrob of our campus back in the day. He had a crush on me before. After hearing the news of my marriage, he, who never went to bars, ended up completely wasted at one that night. We haven't been in touch since the wedding, but I heard from a mutual friend that he started a business in this city and is currently single. At the coffee shop, Shen Yuan was already waiting for me. It had been a long time. He seemed more mature than I remembered, tall and handsome at 188 centimeters. He was sitting by the floor-to-ceiling window, drawing quite a few glances. After exchanging pleasantries, I said to him, Shen Yuan, there's something I need to ask of you. Jihuan, if there's something you need, just say it. I confessed. My husband and I had a fight. Would it be okay if I stayed at your place for a few days? If not for what happened in my past life, I would never have asked a male friend if I could stay at his place, but my mindset is different now. Zhou Jingqing thinks it's fine for Bai Tang to stay at our place. Well then, I'd like to see how Zhou Jingqing would feel if I went to stay at the home of a male classmate who used to have a crush on me. Shen Yuan was taken aback for a moment, then nodded, sure, you can stay as long as you like. And just like that, I moved into Shen Yuan's place. After their trip to the supermarket, Zhou Jingqing took Bai Tang to the mall and a maternity store, buying her several sets of maternity clothes and daily necessities. They headed home, arms laden with shopping bags. Zhou Jingqing peeled the Musang King durian for Bai Tang, washed some cherries and strawberries, and presented them to her to enjoy. Then, he walked into the master bedroom to call me out for some fruit. The master bedroom was empty. Zhou Jingqing noticed the suitcase in the corner was gone. When he opened the wardrobe, he saw that my most frequently worn clothes were missing too. He dialed my number. "I'm eating the fruit Shen Yuan cut for me," Zhou Jingqing demanded abruptly. "Jihuan, where are you? Why is your suitcase gone?" I said flatly. "It was getting a bit cramped at home, so I've moved in with Shen Yuan." Zhou Jingqing knows Shen Yuan, and he also knows Shen used to have a thing for me. He has always seen Shen Yuan as a romantic rival. Zhou Jingqing flew into a rage the moment he heard it. "What are you doing moving into Shen Yuan's place?" he snapped. "Don't you know it's improper for a man and a woman to live together? Get back here right now." I teased him. "Oh, so you know about propriety between men and women. I was under the impression you had no clue." Zhou Jingqing finally realized I was doing this because I was upset he let Bai Tang move into our home. "Jihuan, can you stop being so difficult? You were the one who agreed to let Bai Tang stay, and now you're the one moving in with Shen Yuan. What's your game? My agreement was a test for you. Unfortunately, you failed." Not wanting to argue further, I dropped one last line. "That's all. Shen Yuan cut some fruit for me. I'm going to have some now." With that, I hung up the phone. That last line was clearly meant to be a dig at him. Zhou Jingqing grabbed his jacket, intent on coming to find me at Shen Yuan's place. As he passed through the living room, Bai Tang stopped him. "Jingqing, I heard everything. It seems Jihuan doesn't want me here. I'll pack my things and leave right now." Zhou Jingqing stopped and explained to her. "Don't take it to heart. Jihuan is just throwing a tantrum. I'll go get her. She'll come back with me. I don't want to be the reason you two argue." "I should go," Bai Tang said, heading to the guest room to pack her things. Zhou Jingqing could see she wasn't joking. He quickly put down his coat to console her. "But you have nowhere else to stay right now. Even if you're leaving, there's no need to rush. I even bought all this fruit for you." "Jingqing, you're so kind. If only I had chosen you back then." Bai Tang sighed, her eyes filled with regret. Zhou Jingqing's ears flushed red. He pressed on. "Bai Tang, why didn't you choose me back then?" Bai Tang smiled breezily and said, "There were just too many people pursuing me back then. Everyone makes mistakes in judgment sometimes. Let's not dwell on the past." Perhaps Bai Tang's words gave Zhou Jingqing hope. As he decided not to go to Shen Yuan's house to look for me, he said to Bai Tang with great seriousness, "Don't leave. You did nothing wrong in this matter. The fault lies with Jihuan. She's being too petty. You should stay. If she wants to stay at Shen Yuan's place, then let her." After saying this, Zhou Jingqing invited Bai Tang to go back to the living room to continue having some fruit. Bai Tang added, "By the way, can you come with me for my prenatal checkup tomorrow?" "Of course I can. Tomorrow's the weekend anyway, but even if it weren't, I'd take time off to go with you." Zhou Jingqing agreed without a second thought, his true simp nature on full display. "You're such a good man. Sister Jihuan is so lucky." Bai Tang buttered him up, then took another jab at me. "You're so wonderful, yet she still picks fights with you over nothing. I feel it's a bit unfair to you." Her temper really can be a bit much. She's not as understanding as you are." Zhou Jingqing sighed, his gaze towards Bai Tang taking on a deeper meaning. Bai Tang smiled bashfully, and the two exchanged meaningful glances. The next day, I went to the hospital first thing in the morning. After coming out of the operating room, I ran into Bai Tang and Zhou Jingqing. Zhou Jingqing was surprised to see me in the obstetrics department. He pulled me to the end of the corridor and asked in a hushed voice, "Jihuan, what are you doing here?" My face was deathly pale, my voice icy. "Didn't Bai Tang tell you? I'm pregnant too." Upon hearing the news of my pregnancy, Zhou Jingqing wasn't overjoyed, merely taken aback. "What, you're pregnant too? Are you here for a checkup today?" I shook my head. "No, I'm here for the procedure. I've already terminated the pregnancy." Zhou Jingqing was furious. "Xia Jihuan, you terminated our child without even asking me. What is the meaning of this?" "Zhou Jingqing, let's get a divorce. I wish you and Bai Tang happiness." I turned to leave. Shen Yuan approached from a distance. He had just gone to get my medicine. Zhou Jingqing spotted Shen Yuan, charged at him, and threw a punch. "Shen Yuan," he roared, "you're the one who talked my wife into getting rid of the baby, aren't you? You're dead." Shen Yuan punched Zhou Jingqing back, and a nurse rushed over to separate the two men. Bai Tang stepped forward to placate Zhou Jingqing. "Calm down," she said, "let's talk about this at home." I, meanwhile, grabbed Shen Yuan and pulled him away, leaving Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang behind. Zhou Jingqing was fuming with rage. He shouted at my retreating back, "Xia Jihuan, think carefully. If you leave with him, our marriage is over." I've thought it through perfectly clearly. Divorce, we must get a divorce. After returning from the hospital, I spent a few days recuperating at Shin Yuan's place. Once I was well enough to get out of bed, I moved out of Shin Yuan's home and checked into a hotel instead. I moved in with him on impulse. Just to spite Zhou Jingqing. After calming down, I realized I shouldn't have done that. I asked Zhou Jingqing for a divorce. He was furious too and agreed right away. However, some disagreements have arisen regarding the division of assets. We jointly own one apartment, one car, and have a total of 300,000 in savings between us. Our original plan was to sell the house and car and split all marital assets 50-50, but Bai Tang egged Zhou Jingqing on, saying, Xia Jihuan's salary is lower than yours. How can she walk away with half? She should consider herself lucky to get a third. Zhou Jingqing thought Bai Tang made a fair point, so he proposed to me that he would take the house, I would take the car, and the savings would be split with 200,000 for him and 100,000 for me. Of course, I didn't agree. My base salary might not be as high as his, but my year-end bonus alone is equivalent to his entire annual salary. I bought that car with my year-end bonus in the first place. When we bought the house, my family covered half the cost. We were short on the renovation funds, so I paid for the bulk of it with my pre-marriage savings. I really intended to build a life with him, but it turns out I misjudged him completely. Now that we can't make it work, splitting the assets 50-50 is already letting him off easy. Unable to reach an agreement, they had no choice but to file for divorce. 6. While I was preparing the documents to file for divorce, Bai Tang was still living in my house. Meanwhile, I was staying in a hotel. The master bedroom in my house has a large ensuite bathroom with a bathtub. The bathtub is connected to an app on my phone, allowing me to remotely control the water temperature and the frequency of the hydrotherapy massage. That night, a notification popped up on my phone app, indicating the bathtub was in use. The water temperature was 40 degrees. My guard went up immediately. This bathtub is exclusively mine. Zhou Jingqing almost never uses it. He prefers showers. Besides, he doesn't like his bathwater too hot, 38 degrees Celsius at most. I suspect Bai Tang is the one using my bathtub. We clearly have 2 bathrooms in the house. Besides the ensuite in the master bedroom, there's a shared one next to the guest room. To confirm my suspicion, I video called Zhou Jingqing. Zhou Jingqing let it ring for over 10 seconds before leisurely answering the video call. He was working in his study, glaring at me through the screen. He said coldly, "What? Finally realized you were wrong. I'm not forgiving you." I ignored his question and asked directly, "Is Bai Tang taking a bath in the master bedroom?" Zhou Jingqing shrugged it off. "So what if she is? The guest room doesn't have a bathtub. She's just using the master bath. We're getting a divorce anyway. Do you even care?" Unbelievable. I minimized the video call to a floating window, opened the bathtub control app, cranked up the temperature, and started mashing the hydrotherapy massage buttons. From the other end of the call came Bai Tang's piercing scream. "Ah!" Zhou Jingqing quickly got up, walked to the master bedroom door, and called out, "Bai Tang, what's wrong? Why is the water getting hotter and hotter? It's splashing everywhere," Bai Tang said, scrambling out of the bathtub in a fluster. "Be careful, get out first, don't stay in." With that, Zhou Jingqing went back to the study, picked up his phone, and confronted me. "Xia Jihuan, was it you who controlled the bathtub? Can you stop being so petty?" I frowned. Even I have my limits. I can't just let another woman use my bathtub. Tell her to get out. You're insane. Just as Zhou Jingqing was about to yell at me, another scream came from the master bathroom. Without even hanging up the video call, Zhou Jingqing pushed open the master bedroom door and rushed in, phone still in hand. The camera pans to find Bai Tang lying naked on the bathroom floor, her body glistening and wet. With a trembling, tearful voice, Bai Tang pleaded, "Jingqing, come help me up." I slipped and fell just after getting out of the bathtub. Zhou Jingqing walked over, grabbed a towel to drape over Bai Tang, and helped her to her feet. He probably forgot. I could still see everything from here. How thrilling. I decisively hit the record button. Zhou Jingqing helped Bai Tang to the bed in the master bedroom and asked her, "Are you okay? Was the fall serious?" Sensing something, Bai Tang's face changed dramatically, and she said with embarrassment, "Zhou Jingqing, call an ambulance, quick, I think I'm bleeding." After saying that, she told Zhou Jingqing to turn around. When she stood up and looked, my pristine white bedsheet was stained with a patch of red. "I'll take you straight to the hospital," Zhou Jingqing said, going to fetch some clothes for Bai Tang to change into. this was all by Tang's own doing. She ignored the perfectly good bathroom outside and insisted on using the bathtub in my master bedroom. Who else would trip but her? Serves her right. 7. Zhou Jingqing drove Bai Tang to the hospital. She lost the baby. Bai Tang was sobbing, and after Zhou Jingqing had comforted her, he stepped into the hallway to call me. Xia Jihuan, you're truly despicable. You and Bai Tang are both women. Why must you make things so hard for her? She lost the baby. Are you happy now? I nodded. Quite. I shot back. You know the saying, women shouldn't make things hard for other women. What decent person goes to stay at someone else's house while heavily pregnant, and uses the hostess's bathtub? She had it coming, didn't she? I can't win an argument with you. Keep being stubborn then. Don't bother coming back to this house. I don't want to see you. With that, Zhou Jingqing hung up the phone. I never wanted to go home in the first place, nor did I want to see him and Bai Tang. But hearing him say that really got under my skin. Whether I want to go back or not is my business. He can't just stop me. Fine, if he says I can't go home, then he and Bai Tang can forget about going back too. I went straight home right then. There was still Bai Tang's blood on the sheets. How revolting. I hired a housekeeper to come and clean up. I threw out the sheets and duvet covers and put on new ones. I scrubbed the bathtub inside and out with disinfectant several times. I also had the cleaner pack up Bai Tang's personal belongings and throw them in the dumpster downstairs. I changed the code on the smart lock and installed surveillance cameras all over the house. After finishing all that, I left the house. When Bai Tang was discharged from the hospital, Zhou Jingqing took her home. Bai Tang saw her clothes in the trash can. She picked them up angrily and asked Zhou Jingqing, "Did Xia Jihuan throw these out? Who else could it be?" "Forget it, I'll buy you new ones." Zhou Jingqing led Bai Tang back home. Arriving at his front door, Zhou Jingqing entered the home's passcode. A voice prompt indicated the password was incorrect. Zhou Jingqing tried 2 more times, but it still didn't work. He then tried unlocking it with his fingerprint, but was notified that the fingerprint was no longer recognized. Bai Tang said, "Xia Jihuan must have come back and changed the password and fingerprint." Zhou Jingqing called my number, but all he got was a busy signal. I had already blocked his number. Zhou Jingqing called a locksmith to come and open the lock. I called the property management. "Hello, someone is trying to break into my apartment. Could you please go and stop them?" I'm always the one who contacts the property management whenever there's an issue at home. I've known them for a long time. When the property manager arrived and saw Zhou Jingqing bringing a strange woman home behind my back, they immediately suggested he should confirm the passcode with me instead of forcing the lock. After the locksmith understood the situation, he didn't dare to help break the lock and left with his toolbox. Other neighbors came out to look, pointing at Bai Tang and whispering, "Who is that woman?" Ever since she showed up, the lady of the house moved out. How shameless. Is society really that permissive these days? The couple was doing just fine. What's she doing butting in? So eager to be the other woman. How disgusting. The man of the house is no better. He really doesn't have his head on straight. Bai Tang's face flushed with embarrassment and paled with shame under the neighbor's scolding. She turned and walked away, with Zhou Jingqing hurrying after her. In the car, Bai Tang said to Zhou Jingqing, "Jingqing, I didn't mean to cause you so much trouble. I should move to a hotel." Humiliated by the neighbor's remarks, Zhou Jingqing nodded. "All right. I'll book a hotel for you." 8. Zhou Jingqing booked a hotel for Bai Tang, reserving it for a full month, and he paid for it using our joint marital funds. My best friend warned me, "You need to stop him from hiding assets." I've already thought of that. He's always had a habit of stashing away money. Things have gotten this bad. He's definitely going to move our shared assets to cover his own back. I need to get proof that he's transferring our marital property. Filing for divorce will help me secure a larger share of the assets. I've even hired a private investigator to tail Bai Tang and Zhou Jingqing, gathering evidence of his marital infidelity. He cornered me at my office in trance. "You got your wish. Bai Tang has moved to a hotel. Now, will you tell me the passcode to the house?" I didn't want to argue, so I just texted him the code. Bai Tang recuperated at the hotel for a while. Zhou Jingqing would bring her homemade soup every day, prepared with premium ingredients. He also arranged for a month's supply of ready-to-eat bird's nest, delivered twice daily, once in the morning and once in the evening. He took her shopping as well, buying her numerous new outfits and daily necessities. A private investigator documented all of these activities, capturing each one on camera. Looking at the photo, I can't believe how blind I was back then. I scrimp and save every day, just so he can splurge it on another woman. Bai Tang asked Zhou Jingqing to borrow 50,000 yuan, using her brother's insufficient wedding dowry as the reason. Zhou Jingqing lent it to her behind my back, Each of them was secretly scheming. Bai Tang thought to herself that once she and Zhou Jingqing got together, she wouldn't have to pay back the money. Meanwhile, Zhou Jingqing thought that if they ever actually got divorced, he could fudge the details on this sum of money and keep it for himself. A month later, seeing Bai Tang was down in the dumps, Zhou Jingqing suggested taking her bungee jumping. He said bungee jumping could make you forget your troubles. Nothing matters except life and death. Bai Tang agreed and went bungee jumping with him. Bai Tang also posted on her social media, "My first bungee jump ever." In the photo, although Zhou Jingqing wasn't in the frame, Bai Tang captured a picture of their hands holding each other. In the photo, there was no wedding ring on Zhou Jingqing's finger. After bungee jumping, they went to a bar to dance and got completely wasted. Zhou Jingqing helped Bai Tang back to her hotel room and never came out. After the private investigator told me, I took some people to catch them in the act. Finding Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang red-handed, Zhou Jingqing and I are in the process of separating, but the divorce isn't finalized yet. What he did is outright adultery, armed with evidence of him hiding marital assets and committing adultery. I officially filed for divorce. The next day, after Zhou Jingqing sobered up, he came to talk to me. He said remorsefully, "Jihuan, I was wrong. I had too much to drink yesterday. It won't happen again. Please forgive me. Let's just put the past behind us and make our marriage work." I knew his remorse wasn't genuine. He just realized the situation was spiraling out of his control. If this continued, he'd be ruined. Left with nothing, I shook my head, my tone calm yet resolute. "It's too late. There's no turning back now. Let's proceed with the divorce. Is there really no chance for us?" Zhou Jingqing persisted, unwilling to give up. "Didn't you always want to visit the Maldives? I'll book the flights and hotel right now. Let's go on a trip. As my apology, from now on, I'll go anywhere you want. I remember when we got married, we talked about going to the Maldives for our honeymoon. We ended up not going because we wanted to save money, but lately, the money he's been spending on Bai Tang is far more than what a trip to the Maldives would cost." "Ha," I sneered coldly. "Zhou Jingqing, how can you be so naive? You won't be with me for the places I want to go in the future. I can go by myself." No matter how much he pleaded or reasoned, I was resolute in my decision to divorce him. After failing to win me back, Zhou Jingqing became even more determined to hold on to Bai Tang. He and Bai Tang remained very close. 3 months later, the divorce ruling was issued. Zhou Jingqing was found at fault and left the marriage with nothing. By this point, he and Bai Tang were completely infatuated with each other. She was pushing him to finalize the divorce with me quickly, tired of living in hotels without any real status. Zhou Jingqing kept the fact that he had left with nothing a secret. He told Bai Tang that the house and car had been sold, and he had received half of the money. Bai Tang happily began dreaming of marrying him. "It's true, I sold the house and the car. All the money is with me." Zhou Jingqing had no savings, living solely on his salary. I also managed to recover the money Zhou Jingqing had lent to Bai Tang and spend on her. He didn't dare to ask Bai Tang for it back, so he borrowed money from a friend to cover the expenses. I bought a small apartment to live in, quit my old job, and used part of the money to start my own business. One day, while buying coffee and waiting in line at a cafe, I ran into Bai Tang. "Sister Jihuan, what a coincidence." She greeted me with a smile, casually stroking the diamond ring on her finger, a gesture dripping with, "Jingqing proposed to me. Our wedding is set for next month." "Oh dear, I forgot to send you an invitation. I'll make sure to get one to you later." If that diamond ring she's wearing is real, it must be worth over 100,000. Zhou Jingqing is usually quite the spendthrift, with little left from his salary each month. It would be very difficult for him to come up with over 100,000 for a diamond ring. "Looks like a fake diamond ring to me," I replied with effortless grace. "No need to send it. I'm busy. Maybe next time." Her expression shifted slightly. "Don't worry, Jingqing and I will grow old together. This marriage is for life. There won't be a next time." My gaze fell on the ring on her finger. "Oh, seems you don't have much of an eye for quality either. You'll take any old junk. Can't even tell it's a fake diamond." She toyed with the diamond ring on her finger and retorted, "Open your eyes and look. This is a genuine diamond ring. Jingqing bought it for 180,000. He never gave you such an expensive ring when you were married, did he?" "You're just saying that out of jealousy, aren't you? When Zhou Jingqing and I got married, he really didn't give me such an expensive diamond ring. We bought our wedding rings together. We chose the simplest style so it wouldn't get in the way of housework, and the pair only cost a little over 10,000. I laughed out loud. "Ha, Jingqing left with nothing. With his salary of just over 10,000 a month, Do you really think he could afford an 180,000 ring for you in 3 months? You're so easily fooled, Bai Tang said in disbelief. What? Zhou Jingqing left with nothing when he divorced you? Impossible, he told me he got half the assets. Don't lie to me. A faint mocking smile touched the corner of my lips. Whether I'm lying or not, you can easily find out. Catching you two in bed back then wasn't just about shaming you. By the way, there's a jeweler next door. Why don't you get that diamond ring of yours appraised? Then you'll know who's lying to you, me or him. It was Bai Tang's turn in line. The barista asked her what she'd like to order. She tossed out a single phrase, "Never mind," and walked away. Then, he hurriedly left the cafe. 10. If I'm not mistaken, Bai Tang probably took the diamond ring to the jewelry store next door to have it appraised. I ordered 2 coffees and sat by the floor-to-ceiling window, waiting for someone. I had a meeting scheduled with Shen Yuan today. Our companies do business together, and this meeting was to discuss a deal. Shen Yuan arrived right on time. After we agreed on the terms, I slid a contract across the table to him. Mr. Shen, please review the contract. If everything looks good, you can sign it here. As Shen Yuan looked over the contract, I turned my gaze to the window. Bai Tang emerged from the jewelry store next door, looking utterly devastated. Her expression alone made it clear the test results had hit her hard. How ironic. Zhou Jingqing had tricked Bai Tang completely, passing off a moissanite as a diamond engagement ring. Moissanite is a lab-created stone, practically worthless. That particular ring could be had for just a few $100. Bai Tang pulled the ring from her finger and, in a fit of anger, hurled it into the fountain pool. She turned back to look at me sitting in the cafe, and seeing my amused, spectator-like expression, her face turned livid with anger. I smiled with genuine delight. The sunshine is wonderful today, and my mood is just as bright. Shen Yuan signed the contract, then looked up at me and said, "It's been a long time since I've seen such a radiant smile on your face. What's made you so happy?" I averted my gaze, a smirk tugging at the corner of my mouth. Ran into an acquaintance. Seeing her unhappy just made my day. Shen Yuan looked out the window as Bai Tang hailed a taxi by the roadside and drove off. Watching Bai Tang's retreating figure, Shen Yuan seemed to understand who I was talking about. "Pleasure doing business with you." I extended my hand. Shen Yuan shook my hand and said, "Looking forward to working with you." Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang sent out wedding invitations to their close friends a few days ago. After learning that the diamond ring was fake and that Zhou Jingqing had left our marriage with nothing, Bai Tang confronted him in a rage. "Zhou Jingqing, how could you not tell me about something this important sooner?" "Tang, I'll make a comeback. After we're married, I'll hand over my salary card to you." I know exactly what Zhou Jingqing is thinking. He's afraid that if Bai Tang finds out, she won't want to be with him. That's why he's keeping it from her. Bai Tang was utterly dissatisfied. "You should have handed your salary card over to me anyway, but all you have is a salary. You can't even afford a house or a car. What reason do I have to marry you?" Zhou Jingqing was a bit hurt and shot back. "Bai Tang, are you with me for the money, not for who I am as a person?" Bai Tang looked him right in the eye and lied through her teeth. "I am with you for you, but that doesn't mean you get to deceive me." Her voice grew more heated with each word. "And what's the meaning of you proposing with a few $100 moissanite ring, pretending it's a diamond? Do you think I'm an idiot? A diamond ring can't put food on the table. I can't afford a real one right now. So I had to make do with a substitute," Zhou Jingqing said, raising his hands in a vow. "I swear, once I have the money, I'll buy you a real diamond ring. Please, don't be angry." Bai Tang's eyes were filled with disdain. "Forget it. With your salary, who knows how long it would take you to save up for a diamond ring, let alone a house and a car." "Bai Tang, that's not what you said back when I hadn't divorced Jihuan," Zhou Jingqing said, his eyes reddening with disappointment. "You said you'd be with me whether we were eating abalone or playing kanji. You said you'd bear any criticism just to be with me. You even said," Bai Tang cut Zhou Jingqing off impatiently, "enough. A woman's sweet talk and a man's pillow talk are equally worthless. With no financial stability, what makes you think I'd suffer through hardship with you?" Having said that, Bai Tang stated calmly, "Let's call off the wedding. I'm not marrying you." Zhou Jingqing grabbed Bai Tang's wrist and roared, "The invitations are already out. How will it look to all our friends if you cancel now? Do you have any idea how much gossip and ridicule I endured for you back then?" Bai Tang tried to wrench her arm free, her own anger flaring. "I endured just as much gossip as you did. I was blind back then. I misjudged you completely. It's not too late to pull back from the brink. Bai Tang, you bitch. You destroyed my family. And now you have the nerve to tell me to pull back from the brink." Zhou Jingqing's eyes were wide with fury. Bai Tang was frightened by his demeanor. she played the meek card, saying, "Alright then, let's postpone the wedding. I'll marry you when you can afford a real diamond ring. My demand isn't high, at least 1 carat." Zhou Jingqing threw Bai Tang onto the bed. Afterwards, he lit a cigarette, taking deep drags and exhaling plumes of smoke. His gaze terrifyingly calm. 11. I was too busy starting my own business to pay attention to what was going on with Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang. One day, my best friend sent me a screenshot of Bai Tang's WeChat moments. Bai Tang shared a photo of a diamond ring, along with the entire process of Zhou Jingqing taking her to buy it, including the receipt for the purchase, totaling 188,000 yuan. She leaned against Zhou Jingqing's shoulder with a blissful smile, her diamond ring sparkling as they enjoyed a candlelit dinner. My best friend told me, "I heard from friends a while back that their wedding was called off, and now I'm hearing it's back on as scheduled. What on earth are they playing at? Those two are a right pair of lunatics." I pieced together the whole story. Bai Tang wanted to call off the wedding a while ago, probably because she found out the diamond ring was fake and learned that Zhou Jingqing had been left penniless after the divorce. The only reason she's agreed to go ahead with the wedding is probably because Zhou Jingqing gave her that genuine diamond ring worth 188,000 yuan. From what I know, there's no way Zhou Jingqing could come up with 188,000 yuan for a diamond ring right now. I have a wild theory. He must have taken out an online loan. He's a sore loser and cares way too much about saving face. If the wedding were called off, he'd never be able to show his face in front of his family and friends again, so. Even if it meant taking out a loan, he was determined to buy the diamond ring first, to make Bai Tang happy and get her to marry him. He'd worry about the rest later. The irony, if Bai Tang ever finds out she'll have to help pay off that loan, do you think she'll still be smiling? That day, I ran into Bai Tang again at the coffee shop. With the air of a victor, she flashed the diamond ring in her hand at me. "This one's the real deal. Jingqing took me to buy it himself." And I watched him swipe the card. "You've never worn a ring this expensive in your life, have you? Oh, what's there to brag about?" I rolled my eyes coldly. Bai Tang took a wedding invitation out of her purse and shoved it into my hand, saying with a smile, "We're getting married the day after tomorrow. Come for a drink if you're free, or don't bother if you're not. Spare me the clown act. I couldn't care less about you too." I tossed the invitation into the nearby trash can right in front of her. She didn't catch my sarcasm and continued, "I've been trying to get pregnant lately. Jingqing makes me nourishing soups and bird's nest every day to build up my health. Oh, by the way, you lost a child back then too. You really should take better care of yourself. You wouldn't want to end up infertile and unable to get married." Her words hit a raw nerve, bringing back the memory of lying on that cold operating table. "Congratulations, then," I said, a cold smile touching my lips. "For your new marriage, I'll be sure to send you a memorable gift." With that, I turned and walked away. She laughed behind me and taunted, "No need for a gift. Your well wishes are the best present." On Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang's birthday, I truly gave them a grand gift. The wedding vow exchange was supposed to be romantic, but then, the large screen behind them suddenly played a 15-second video. The video showed Bai Tang heavily pregnant, falling in my bathroom and being helped up by Zhou Jingqing. It also showed the scene where I stormed into the hotel room with others and caught her and Zhou Jingqing in bed together. The wedding guests' eyes widened in shock. My best friend attended their wedding and stirred the pot, saying, "Back then, Bai Tang, pregnant with another man's child, forced her way into Jihuan's home, drove Jihuan out, hooked up with Zhou Jingqing, and shamelessly stole her place as the other woman." Bai Tang and Zhou Jingqing turned pale the moment they saw the video and urgently instructed the hotel staff to cut the feed. The hotel staff fumbled for a full 2 minutes before they managed to turn off the screen, but by then, that 15-second video had already looped 7 or 8 times. Bai Tang and Zhou Jingqing were utterly humiliated in front of their family and friends. They became the laughingstock of the guests. Everyone now knew Zhou Jingqing was a scumbag who abandoned his wife and child, and Bai Tang was the mistress who stole him away, a perfect match made in hell. The wedding ended on a sour note. When Beidong threatened to call the police on me, I wasn't about to leave any evidence. The video was accidentally leaked when I took my computer in for repairs. I'm a victim in this too. Unable to pin anything on me, Beidong was livid. 12. My career is really taking off, the business keeps growing, and I'm making a good amount of money. I've planned 2 trips a year for myself. I work hard to earn the money to go wherever I want, and I can have a fantastic time even when I go alone. Life just keeps getting better and more exciting since the divorce. My best friend says I'm absolutely glowing. life after marriage wasn't so smooth sailing for Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang. The diamond ring Zhou Jingqing bought for Bai Tang was purchased on credit, requiring hefty monthly payments on top of the principal. After making his monthly loan payment, his salary was practically gone. Bai Tang had always been accustomed to a lavish lifestyle. She insists on having imported fruits and bird's nest every day, spending hundreds just on these delicacies. Zhou Jingqing was living on a shoestring budget. At a casual get-together with friends, he heard a mutual acquaintance mention me. Xia Jihuan is doing incredibly well now. In her first year of running the company, she made over $1 million, and this is just the beginning. She's likely to earn even more. Hearing this left a sour taste in Zhou Jingqing's mouth. He pretended not to care and listened quietly. My friend added, I heard Shen Yuan is pursuing her. They're actually quite a good match. Their companies do business together, and they know each other inside out. I wonder when we'll get to toast at their wedding. I really admire her. After everything she's been through, she can just laugh it off and make a stunning comeback with her career. She's an inspiration to me. She's got money, looks, and youth on her side now. What kind of man couldn't she have? She's got quite a few suitors chasing after her. Zhou Jingqing sat in the corner, drinking gloomily. Hearing this, he was so furious he nearly crushed the glass in his hand. After leaving the private room, Zhou Jingqing initially intended to settle the bill at the front desk, hoping to prove he wasn't that hard up. But when the bill was tallied, it came to over 2,000. Glancing at the meager balance left on his card, he silently handed the bill back to the cashier. His friend came out of the private room, heading to the front desk to pay, and just happened to see Zhou Jingqing handing the bill to the cashier. He walked over with a smile, putting his arm around Zhou Jingqing's shoulder. Jingqing, you're too kind. Well, thank you then. This one's on you, and the next one's on me. Zhou Jingqing was taken aback. Things had already gone that far. If he didn't pick up the tab, he'd lose too much face in front of his friends. Zhou Jingqing took out his card and paid the bill. I'm going to the restroom. He tossed out the remark and headed for the bathroom. Zhou Jingqing splashed some water on his face in the restroom. As he stepped out, a familiar figure caught the corner of his eye. Thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him, he rubbed them and saw Bai Tang being led by the waist into a private room in the distance by a man, 13. After getting married, Bai Tang never went back to work. 2 hours ago, she texted him asking what time he'd be home. He replied, hard to say. She said a girlfriend had invited her out for shopping and a movie, and since it would be too late after the show, she'd just stay over at her friend's place. To his surprise, she was actually at a nightclub, arm in arm with a man who looked considerably older than her. Zhou Jingqing's temper flared. He strode forward and pushed open the private room door. Inside, a man referred to as Manager Xia was holding Bai Tang in his arms, kissing her. Zhou Jingqing charged forward and smashed a liquor bottle over Manager Xia's head. Blood streamed from Manager Xia's head. Bai Tang shrieked, "Ah, Zhou Jingqing! Have you lost your mind? You're the one who's lost your mind. How dare you cheat on me behind my back?" Zhou Jingqing grabbed Bai Tang and dragged her outside. They stood arguing in the middle of the road. Zhou Jingqing slapped Bai Tang across the face and demanded, "Who was that man?" "He's my ex. The child I was pregnant with last time was his." Bai Tang broke free from Zhou Jingqing's grip. "You hurt him. I need to go back and check if he's okay." Zhou Jingqing seized Bai Tang, hailed a taxi, shoved her into the back seat, and told the driver to head home. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he could kill Bai Tang at any moment. "Bai Tang, you shameless woman, you just kissed him. How disgusting can you be?" Bai Tang denied it. "You must be seeing things. We're just friends meeting up. I had something in my eye, and he was helping me get it out. It's not the dirty thing you're imagining. Since when is there sand in a nightclub?" Still making excuses, Zhou Jingqing grabbed Bai Tang by the throat. The frightened taxi driver quickly pulled over. "If you're going to fight, take it outside. I'm not taking this fare anymore. Get out of my car." Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang were forced out of the car and had to walk home, afraid Zhou Jingqing might hurt her. Bai Tang backed down and said, "Honey, let me be honest with you. President Xia has a lucrative project. I was just trying to learn more about it so you could take it on. It's not what you think. You know our financial situation isn't great right now. We're really struggling. President Xia is a big shot with tons of resources. If he could give us a hand, it could save us years of hard work. And don't think I don't know about your online loans. I didn't even blame you. I was trying to find a way to get money for us, yet you doubt my loyalty. I'm so disappointed." Bai Tang spoke earnestly, but Zhou Jingqing was skeptical. "Are you serious? That Mr. Xia has a profitable project for me. What on earth is he thinking?" "Of course I'm serious. You know I was pregnant with his child. He feels guilty and wants to make it up to us, but you just bashed Mr. Xia's head in without asking any questions. We'll be lucky if he doesn't come after you. That project is definitely off the table now. Hearing this, Zhou Jingqing's anger subsided considerably. He wanted to turn back to find Mr. Xia, but Bai Tang held him back. Forget it, don't go back. He's a regular at the nightclub, the manager will take him to the hospital. Let's just go home. Zhou Jingqing nodded. Alright, we'll buy some fruit and visit him tomorrow. 14. The next day, Zhou Jingqing indeed bought some fruit and went with Bai Tang to the hospital to see Mr. Xia. Bai Tang had already coordinated their story with Director Xia via text last night. Director Xia claimed he was considering them for a lucrative project to make up for his past wrongs against Bai Tang, but it all depended on Zhou Jingqing's sincerity. Zhou Jingqing was overwhelmed by loan repayments, and Bai Tang kept nagging him about buying a house. He was desperate to make a quick buck, so he started buttering up Mr. Xia with fine cigarettes and premium liquor. Surprisingly, the two of them even became friends. Who wouldn't hear that and think it's absolutely absurd? On Little New Year's Eve, Bai Tang suggested inviting Mr. Xia over for a home-cooked meal to help move that project forward. The couple prepared a lavish spread of fine food and drink, inviting Mr. Xia over for dinner at their home. At the table, Zhou Jingqing drank too much, while Mr. Xia used his foot to flirt with Bai Tang under the table. The two of them kept plying Zhou Jingqing with more alcohol until he passed out drunk and fell asleep on the sofa. Waking up thirsty in the middle of the night, Zhou Jingqing faintly heard lewd noises coming from the master bedroom. Staggering closer, he pressed his ear against the door and heard the voices of Bai Tang and Director Xia inside. Old Xia, do you think my husband will wake up soon? He's got a terrible temper. If he finds us, we're done for. It's more thrilling if he wakes up. Last time he smashed my head open. And I haven't settled that score yet. Today, I'm going to screw his wife right in his own house. That idiot actually thought I'd give him the lucrative project. He doesn't know his own place. I'm risking my life here for your kicks. When are you going to divorce your wife and marry me? I've waited for you for so long. You can't let me down this time. Soon. My wife's health is failing. I'll marry you as soon as she's gone. Zhou Jingqing heard the conversation from inside and was absolutely furious. He stormed into the kitchen, grabbed a cleaver, and kicked the door. Bai Tang, open this damn door. Bai Tang trembled with fear. Boss Xia was a nouveau riche who had connections in both the legitimate and underworld circles. He had long been itching to get back at Zhou Jingqing. Don't be scared. If a fight breaks out this time, I won't be the one who loses out. Boss Xia reassured Bai Tang. He rolled out of bed, grabbed a vase from the nightstand, and opened the bedroom door. His plan was to smash the vase over Zhou Jingqing's head to settle the score for the injury he'd suffered last time. He hadn't anticipated that Zhou would be armed with a knife. Zhou Jingqing charged forward with the knife and began slashing wildly at Boss Xia. Bai Tang screamed and grabbed her phone to call the police. Mr. Xia lay in a pool of blood, while Zhou Jingqing charged again, this time aiming to slash at Bai Tang. He had completely lost his mind. Seeing this, Bai Tang hurriedly retreated into the master bedroom's bathroom and locked the door from the inside. Zhou Jingqing was slamming against the door, roaring, "Open the door. Bai Tang, you bitch, open this door for me. How dare you cheat on me? None of us are getting out of here alive today." Bai Tang realized she had gone too far and began to sob. "Honey, I know I was wrong. Don't do anything rash. Let's just talk this through." Zhou Jingqing rummaged frantically through the drawers, searching for a screwdriver to pry the door open. Before the police could arrive, Zhou Jingqing had already managed to pry open the bathroom door. Bai Tang huddled in the bathtub, her entire body trembling uncontrollably as she sobbed. "Wah, I was wrong. I was really wrong. There's no chance left." Zhou Jingqing's eyes reddened, a streak of blood splattered across his face and onto the bathroom mirror. 15. The incident involving Zhou Jingqing and Bai Tang made the headlines the next day. Mr. Xia succumbed to his injuries due to excessive blood loss. Bai Tang was in the ICU, swathed in bandages from head to toe like a mummy. Zhou Jingqing was arrested and sentenced to death. Bai Tang fell into a vegetative state. "I heard she'll die if they stop her medication. Her family wasn't well off to begin with, so they can't afford the medical bills. I was vacationing in the Maldives when I got the news. I'd picked a 7-star resort island, lounging in the infinity pool with a breeze and a glass of champagne. It was pure bliss. The company's recent revenue has been impressive, and I've hired a professional team at a premium to manage it. The success of this venture is down to my sharp business acumen. I picked the right emerging industry and rode the wave. Of course, my own hard work played a part as well. That evening, while heading to the restaurant for dinner, I caught sight of a familiar figure. I greeted Xinyuan. Xinyuan, what are you doing here? What a coincidence. Wait, that can't be right. As far as I know, his company is even busier than mine. He wouldn't have time for a vacation right now. It seems he's here for me, isn't he? He's been pursuing me quite diligently lately. I receive flowers and all sorts of gifts from him at the office every single day. He's one of our company's business partners, professionally. It's a powerful alliance where we both benefit from a mutually advantageous relationship. On the romantic front, while he seems like a good potential match, after getting hurt once before, I'm in no rush to jump into another relationship. Xinyuan took a seat opposite me. Jihuan, you came on vacation without letting me accompany you. It's so dangerous to be alone. I smiled and said, it's not dangerous at all. What brings you here with some free time? Xinyuan replied, whenever you want to hang out, I can always make time. Let's not talk about that anymore. Cheers. I raised my glass to him and to the beautiful view outside the window. Later, both of our careers grew bigger and brighter, each of us shining in our own right, and in turn, illuminating each other. 3 years later, I boarded the cruise ship to Antarctica, and Xinyuan came along. He proposed to me there, in Antarctica. As far as the eye could see, it was an unspoiled, pristine land that lifted the spirits. The old wounds had healed, almost without me noticing, after weathering countless storms. I found the courage to start a new relationship. I do, I said, extending my finger as Xinyuan slipped a dazzling diamond ring onto it. He spun me around in his arms amidst the Antarctic ice, with countless penguins bearing witness to our joyful moment. At that very same moment, Zhou Jingqing was executed. Bai Tong's EKG showed a flat line, with no further activity. Story 2. On the third day after Shenxiu's kidnapping, I helped him escape from the mountains. Yet his beloved first love ended up sentenced to 7 years in prison for the kidnapping charges. The day Qin Ku was imprisoned, Shenxiu ruined my birthday celebration. Why did you make me escape? Ake was just throwing a tantrum. She never meant to hurt me. Shenxiu screamed at me hysterically. Oblivious that Qin Ku would actually lay hands on him, I overheard the threat if the Shen family didn't deliver the money soon, they'd break one of his legs. When I told him the truth, Shenxiu stubbornly insisted I was lying. He idolizes Qin Ku as the moon of his world, the snow in his heart, yet treats me and the Song family as mere stepping stones for his success. Over 7 years, Shenxiu built the Shen Empire into prominence with the Song family's backing, at the pinnacle of his success. He dragged me, his wife, to the shoreline on the very day Qin Ku was released from prison. Song Qingyao, your atonement ends only in death. I lost consciousness in the seawater, only to wake on the day Shenxiu himself was taken captive. This time, I watched Shenxiu being taken away in bonds, but didn't follow. Perhaps dying in the mountains was the fate Shenxiu deserved. 1. I'd loved Shenxiu for years. Though many claimed he only approached me for personal gain, yet I still craved the tenderness he showed me. My obsession ran deep, so when I was dragged to the shore and recognized Shenxiu, my husband of 6 years, as my captor, I nearly shattered. Why would you do this to me? Shenxiu flicked his cigarette to the ground and crushed it underfoot. His gaze fell upon my tear-streaked face. Yet his eyes remained unsettlingly calm, even his brows carried only the faintest trace of irritation. Shenxiu's whisper carried over the sea breeze, crystal clear in my ears. For 7 years, he said, I've tried to visit Ake, but she refuses to see me every time. She hates me. I went to see her again yesterday, and this time she finally agreed to meet me. I thought Ake was willing to forgive me, but she told me she's fallen ill in prison and doesn't have long to live. Song Qingyao. This is all your fault. You should atone with your life. Well, I'll stay by Ake's side for whatever time she has left. Chinka. I never thought I'd hear that name again, let alone imagine my husband of 6 years would try to kill me because of her. Staring at the cold-eyed man before me, I realized with horror how terribly wrong I'd been to keep choosing him. I shouldn't have risked my life to save him from those mountains 7 years ago. I shouldn't have believed he could love me after Chinka went to prison, but time ran out for regrets. At Shenxiu's signal, his men shoved me off the cliff into the raging sea, bound hand and foot. I kept sinking into the sea, watching the sunlight dance on the waves until I finally suffocated and lost consciousness. 2. The suffocating sensation lingered unbearably, and through the agony, I managed to open my eyes again. No seawater, just a warm, dry cafe. Miss, are you all right? The waitress delivering coffee noticed my pale complexion and the cold sweat beating on my forehead, immediately asking if I felt unwell and needed an ambulance. I shook my head without speaking. gulping down air like a drowning man. Only when my color returned did the waitress set down the coffee and leave. I must have died once. The lingering dread clinging to my heart served as a grim reminder of the death I'd experienced. Yet I was reborn again. My eyes darted around the unfamiliar surroundings. And there, just beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, stood Shinseo. He was on a call, his face lit with undisguised delight. A taxi pulled up to the curb, and out stepped none other than Chin-ku. The beautiful girl with long black curls waved at Shinseo, phone in hand. Caught off guard, Shinseo bounded over with uncontainable glee. 10 steps, 5, 3. Only when Shinseo got into that green cab and the door shut did I dare exhale deeply. My body trembled with almost manic excitement as I quickly settled the bill and rushed home. Since Shinseo resents me for harming Chin-ku and occupying his wife's position, this lifetime I'll let him bravely pursue his true love. By evening, news came from the Shin household. Shinseo had been kidnapped. Seo's been kidnapped. The kidnappers are demanding 10 million for his release, or else. My mother pulled me into her arms, leaving the thread unfinished. Don't worry, Yao Yao. The Shin family has already alerted the police and hired investigators. Seo will be fine. Mom gently rubbed my back to comfort me, knowing exactly how I felt about Shinseo and fearing I'd act recklessly out of concern. I buried my face in my mother's arms, forcing out a few crocodile tears. Mom, I'm sure brother Seo will be just fine. What could possibly happen to Shinseo? At worst he'll lose a leg. Nothing compared to the heartbreak he's about to endure. In my past life. When I learned Chin-ku had arranged to meet Shinseo, I staked out that coffee shop. My stomach churned with jealousy when I saw Shinseo leaving with Chin-ku, and I ended up tailing them. It wasn't until their car veered off into a remote small town that I realized something was wrong. Fong Seo was dragged into the mountains by Chin-ku and his accomplices. After alerting the police, I spent a full day trekking deep into the woods to locate their hideout. I planned to wait for the police, but accidentally overheard the kidnappers' conversation. Do you really think the Shin family can cough up 10 million for his ransom? Rumor has it the old mansion's got plenty of illegitimate sons stashed away. We'll find out tomorrow when the exchange happens. No money, no hostage, that's the deal. Are we really just leaving Ado alone to guard him tomorrow? What if something goes wrong, with him tied up this tight? What could possibly go wrong? Just as the two kidnappers were deep in conversation, Chin-ku arrived with a tall, handsome man by her side. Boss's lady. Having overheard their earlier remarks, Chin-ku said coldly, break one of his legs before we leave tomorrow. That'll keep him out of trouble. Break his leg. Won't that hurt your feelings? The handsome man ran his fingers through Chin-ku's curls with an amused chuckle. I went through the trouble of kidnapping someone for you, and this is how you tease me. Despite her pouting protest, Chin-ku melted into his embrace, her coquettish demeanor a stark contrast to her earlier aloofness. Jean, once we get the money from the Shin family, let's start fresh somewhere new. Okay, alright. The man pressed a tender kiss to Chin-ku's lips before they descended the mountain together. That night, I fought off sleep and crouched until my legs went numb, finally spotting a kidnapper stepping out to relieve himself. I grabbed the sharp stone I'd prepared earlier and smashed it against the kidnapper's skull. I didn't stop until he lay unconscious, blood pooling around his head. I retrieved the blood-stained knife from his body, circled around to the cabin's rear window, and handed the crimson blade to Shinseo under his astonished gaze. Around 3 a.m., when the mountain forest lay in complete silence, Shinseo and I fled through the woods like our lives depended on it. I thought I'd saved him, only to realize I'd doomed myself. This time, I won't take that gamble again, nor will I hand Shinseo the blade that could turn against me. The days dragged on painfully slow. My parents tried comforting me while worrying about the Shin family's plight. I could only weep in public, yet offered no leads to the police, nor agreed to the Song family covering the Shin's financial obligations. Your Aunt Shin came to see me. The family fortune has dwindled over these years, their company's in dire straits. 10 million is truly beyond. My parents' words carried a tentative tone, though already inclined to agree. Consulting me now would make the Shin parents favor me more later. The Shin family could never be too poor to afford 10 million. It's simply that Shin's parents assumed someone else would foot the bill and made excuses. But Shinseo is their son. Why should his safety concern our Song family? Mom, Dad. We can't pay this money for the Shins. Brother Seo just lost his temper with me for meddling in his relationship with Chin-ku. If I interfere again now, he'll think I'm using favors to manipulate him. True, Seo and I had a huge fight recently. I'd urged him again to stay away from Chin-ku, seeing she didn't truly love him. yet he remains convinced their affection is mutual. After our fight, Shinseyo never came to see me again, with my birthday just a week away. He kept accompanying Chinku instead, even giving her the gift he'd originally promised me. I don't want brother Seo to misunderstand me again. I cried so bitterly that my parents had no choice but to turn down the Shin family. The Shin's expressions darkened when they learned our Song family wouldn't provide financial support. Seo's mother in particular shot me a resentful glare upon realizing this was my decision. After all, in her eyes, I'm still that Song Qingyao who'd go to any lengths to please her for Shinseo's sake. She snorted threateningly. This kidnapping incident has shown me some people's true colors. I'll be much more discerning when choosing a wife for our Seo from now on. My parents visibly bristled at her words, but I remained unfazed. Before heading upstairs, I simply clarified that there was nothing between Shinseo and me. Auntie, I know brother Seo's heart belongs to someone else. I've let go of my feelings for him, and I truly hope he can be with the person he loves after being rescued. By the way, Auntie and Uncle should have someone announce your visits to the Song residence from now on. Our doors aren't open to just anyone at any time. You, how dare you speak to your elders like that, you insolent girl, Mrs. Shinseo was hopping mad, ready to say more when my parents gestured for them to leave. Their politeness toward the Shins had only ever been because their daughter fancied the Shin boy. The Shin family did eventually cough up 10 million, but before a cent could be spent, Shinseo was found. 3 hours before the scheduled exchange, surveillance officers spotted the suspects and tracked their trail deep into the mountains. Nearly all of Shinseo's kidnappers were captured, except for Qin Ke and another man who managed to escape. Shinseo's condition was worse than I'd imagined, his body covered in blunt force trauma, his right Achilles tendon severed, and one eye gouged out. The captors confessed that when severing Shin's tendon, he kept screaming at Qin Ke asking if she'd ever loved him. The obvious no only enraged his tormentors, who then inflicted far worse damage than originally planned. By the time police subdued the kidnappers and found Seo Shin in the cabin, he'd already passed out from the pain. Yao Yao. Would you like to visit Seo? Seo Shin still hadn't regained consciousness at the hospital, though her parents now saw the Shin family's true colors. They'd watched Seo grow up. Upon hearing the news, they rushed to the hospital immediately. Such a fine young soul. Why did this have to happen to them? My mother wears her heart on her sleeve. Seeing Shinseo's tragic state in this life already brought her to tears. I can't imagine how unbearable her grief must have been in our past life when she learned of my death. Yao Yao, there are some things your father needs to make clear to you. While my father sympathized with Shinseo's plight, he maintained a more rational perspective. You know, I've never approved of your relationship with Seo. Now with this incident, he's simply not the right person for you. I just want you to think about your future, Dad. I honestly don't have feelings for Shinseo anymore. After he repeatedly chose to hurt me, there's nothing left between us. My father thought I was referring to that big fight I had with Seo recently. Seeing how composed I remained, even when hearing about Seo's hospitalization and coma, the deep furrow between his brows gradually relaxed. Just let it go. Your mother and I will visit the hospital. You've been exhausted lately. Stay home and get some proper rest. Perhaps worried I'd soften upon seeing Shinseo at the hospital, Dad hastily insisted I remain at home. I agreed immediately. Staying clear of the Shin family drama suited me just fine, but my peace didn't last long before they came knocking at my door. 6. Shinseo regained consciousness. Qingyao, Seo wants to see you. Seo's mother showed up at my birthday party, her eyes bloodshot with dark circles underneath. Looking far more haggard than before. After all, no matter how many illegitimate children the Shin family might have, Seo was her only son. I sighed as I looked at the birthday party my parents had so carefully prepared, thinking this time I might actually enjoy a proper celebration. Just like in our past life, Shinseo showed up out of nowhere again. He'd already torn up the invitations I painstakingly prepared, yet still came to torment me for Qin Ke's sake. Song Qingyao, you've ruined Aku. Aku explained everything to me. She never meant to hurt me, she was just afraid my parents wouldn't approve and we'd be forced apart. That's why she came up with this foolish plan, wanting to take the money and start a new life elsewhere with me. If you hadn't arrogantly meddled where you didn't belong, Aku and I would be together now. Your petty jealousy destroyed her. Love is blind, and I wasn't the only one blinded. Shinseo was equally smitten by Qin Ke's charms. It was clearly the Shin family who opposed their relationship and hired top lawyers to get Qin Ke convicted, yet in the end, he only accused me of jealousy. After defending Qin Ku, Shen Xiao simply walked away, leaving me alone to endure the guest's mockery. Foolishly, even in my past life, I wasn't wise enough, hurt by Shen Xiao yet still forgiving him, only realizing his true nature when he cost me my life. Qing Yao, I'm begging you as your aunt, please go see Xiao. What better birthday surprise than witnessing Shen Xiao's miserable state on my special day? The hospital air reeked of antiseptic as I fought back nausea and pushed open the ward door. Before I could step inside, a medicine bottle shattered at my feet, the splashing medicine and glass shards barely missed my toes. The sickbed had stripped Shen Xiao of his usual gentleness, leaving behind a morbid gloom. Those hate-filled eyes only softened slightly upon recognizing me, tinged with sudden remorse. Yao Yao, my apologies. I mistook you for the nurse changing my I forced a faint smile. Unoffended, as I approached Shen Xiao, he grew visibly uneasy. He struggled with the bedsheet, trying in vain to cover his injured leg, but his wound hadn't healed. All his efforts proved futile. I gently helped Shen Xiao lie down and tucked him in. When I looked up at Shen Xiao again, one eye was bandaged while the other was bloodshot. Yao Yao, are you avoiding me because you're still upset about what happened before? Normally I'd be the first to fuss over Shen Xiao. But when he lay severely injured in the hospital without me showing up, he assumed I was still holding a grudge over our pre-kidnapping argument. Yao Yao, I regret everything. I should have listened to you and stayed away from Qin Ku from the start. She's nothing but a liar. She never loved me. I did warn Shen Xiao repeatedly to stay away from Qin Ku, but every time we ended up arguing about it. Qin Ku appeared suddenly in our lives, beautiful, gentle. The perfect embodiment of everything Shen Xiao adored. Looking back now, they must have had their eyes on Shen Xiao for a long time. Yao Yao, will you ever forgive me? A nervous flush crept across Shen Xiao's sickly pale face. His remaining eye held guilt and remorse, but something far more calculating lurked beneath. In his current state, Shen Xiao needed the Song family's backing to protect what was rightfully his within the Shen household. Qin Ku weaponized Shen Xiao's love to wound him. And now he seeks to exploit my affection to manipulate the Song family. Among us, love has become nothing but a blade. Brother Xiao, where's my present? My question caught Xiao off guard. It took him several seconds to realize it was my birthday today. I'm sorry Yao Yao, I haven't had time to prepare anything. Lying again. For the longest time, Shen Xiao seemed to make a habit of lying to me. Before meeting Qinka, he swore he loved me, only to later claim I was just like a sister. At our wedding, he promised a lifetime of devotion, yet 6 years of marriage brought nothing but cold indifference, culminating in him pushing me into the ocean's depths to drown. And now this, jewelry he'd bought a month ago, my favorite pieces, while claiming he had nothing prepared. The lustrous pearl necklace complemented the girl's slender, porcelain neck perfectly, but Qin Ku had no fondness for pearls, or perhaps she simply disliked the giver. After putting on her act in front of Shen Xiao, she promptly sold the necklace. It's alright, Xiao, I'm not angry with you, but I've thought carefully about what you said. I must have mistaken my childhood affection and dependence on you for love. We'll always remain the friends who grew up together. My words drained all color from Shen Xiao's face. His momentary calm shattered instantly. He opened his mouth to speak, but I cut him off. Brother Xiao, I'll fetch the nurse to change your dressing. The 4 bag had run dry, and the replacement bottle had just been shattered. Ignoring Shen Xiao's pleading gaze, I walked out of the ward, having spent too long in his presence. An overwhelming disgust churned within me. I needed fresh air before I ended up locked away too. 7. I strolled leisurely down the hospital corridor, pondering where Qin Ku could have fled. According to the officer in charge, the man escorting Qin Ku took a bullet during their escape. Though the exact wound location wasn't clear, police had set up surveillance at all medical facilities along their suspected escape route. It wouldn't be long before we tracked down Qin Ku and that man. Lost in thought, I suddenly heard a shrill argument coming from around the corner. Shen Xiao's parents, with Xiao in this state, as his father. You're not even concerned about your own son. Instead, you're scheming to bring those disgraceful matters into the Shen family. I've turned a blind eye to your reckless behavior in private, but if you dare to give away what rightfully belongs to Xiao, forget about the joint projects between the Shen family and my parents' house. Let's see who'll keep your pathetic company afloat then. Shen Jifeng's brows knitted tightly. When one son proved useless, he simply switched to another, a choice he believed was justified. Yet the company continued to decline under his leadership, forcing him to rely on his in-laws' support. To make matters worse, his wife was an impossible woman to deal with. In the end, Shen Jifeng could only sigh and suppress, for now, his thoughts of changing the family heir. With everything that's happened, I'm worried Sio's health might give out. The only reason I want to retire early is to come home sooner and spend more time with you and our child. Who could possibly challenge Sio for the Shin family fortune? He's our only son after all. Fang Yin didn't bite his excuses and simply warned her husband once more, not wanting a direct confrontation with the Shin couple. I took a detour that added extra minutes to my walk to the nurse's station. Just as I was about to speak, Shin Sio's room number flashed on the nurse station's call display. The nurses seemed to have received some alert too. A flood of staff rushed toward the room I'd just left. I trailed behind the crowd, watching the once quiet ward erupt into chaos as two officers dragged out a disheveled woman in nurse scrubs, wild-haired, face contorted. It was Chin Ku. Chin Ku's hands were smeared with blood, her body writhing in agony, yet she kept laughing like a madwoman. Shin Sio, you'll pay for A Jin's life with your own. Every last one of you Shins deserves to die. No one expected that bullet to be fatal. The man died on the run, sacrificing himself to conceal their trail and buy Chin Ku a chance to escape. Even more shocking was Chin Ku abandoning his escape, disguising himself and doubling back to the hospital. Chin Ku was taken away. The Shin family would never let her off the hook. Doctors and nurses rushed about the hospital room, desperately working to stop the bleeding. I stole a glance. The dagger had plunged into Shin Sio's chest, staining his blue and white hospital gown crimson. Shin Sio's deathly pale face stood in stark contrast to the vivid red, his stillness suggesting he might already be gone. Shin Sio was rushed into the operating room for emergency treatment. As Shin Sio's mother, Fang Yin wept near collapse outside the OR, while her husband stood coldly beside her, his expression numb and almost indifferent, even more relaxed than during their earlier argument. After the prolonged surgery, Shin Sio's life was saved, but he fell into a deep coma. If Mr. Shin doesn't wake within 2 weeks, the chances of recovery become slim. The doctor carefully chose the word slim, but in reality, there was no hope. Shin Sio's mother had always been a strong-willed woman, but this devastating news nearly broke her. She kept vigil at the hospital every day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Nearly everyone believed Shin Sio would never wake again, destined to remain in that hospital bed until his final breath. I thought so too, which is why when I saw Shin Sio at my own engagement party, I nearly mistook him for a ghost. 8. In the 3rd year of Shin Sio's coma, I got engaged. My fiancé wasn't from Jincheng's wealthy elite, but someone I genuinely loved. Peiyu ran a dessert shop that I stumbled into once, and instantly fell for its delicate sweetness. Peiyu always adorns his exquisite desserts with fresh flowers, from orange jasmine to astilbe, and eventually crimson roses. Staring at the oversized blueberry mousse and the dewdrop-kissed red rose on my plate, I couldn't help glancing toward Peiyu standing nearby. When our eyes met, Peiyu made no attempt to conceal the tenderness in his gaze. He stiffened slightly, trying to maintain composure, but a telltale blush soon spread across his fair, handsome features. Unlike Shin Sio's pretense, gentleness was Peiyu's true nature. Peiyu's proactive courtship and my lack of resistance sparked our romance. Later, I discovered those floral arrangements on the dining table were hand-picked daily by him at Tianjin's finest florist before opening his shop. If I failed to show up and the flowers wilted, he'd make another trip to replace them. Those blossoms were his silent love language, his patient vigil since dawn. 9. Our engagement banquet with Peiyu was packed with guests, many of whom knew about my past with Shin Sio, so when Shin Sio showed up, the crowd erupted in murmurs. They whispered among themselves, speculating when he'd woken up and why he'd come today. Shin Sio appeared still wearing his blue and white hospital gown, as if he'd just bolted from the medical ward. Qing Yao, you're getting engaged. Shin Sio's voice was hoarse, his gaze burning into me. Peiyu beside me gently squeezed my hand and stepped in front of me. May I ask what business you have with my fiancé? Peiyu was uncharacteristically short-tempered, his gaze locked on Shin Sio with unshakable wariness. Your fiancé. Shin Sio's emotions flared violently as he grabbed Peiyu by the collar, fist raised. Qing Yao is my wife. Shin Sio's furious punch was effortlessly caught by Peiyu, having spent 3 years bedridden. Despite round-the-clock professional care, his body had become far frilier than before. With a crippled leg and injured eye, Peiyu barely needed to exert any force before Shin Sio collapsed onto the ground. Seeing her son fall, Fang Yin finally rushed out from where she'd been hiding in the crowd. When she tried to help him up, Shin Sio violently shoved her away. The crowd's murmurs grew louder. No one had expected Shin Sio to actually lose his mind over love today. They'd all witnessed how devoted I'd once been to him. Nowadays, Many spectators are speculating whether I've taken back my old flame and abandoned the new one. Amidst the crowd's clamor, I stepped out from behind Peiyu. Shinseo's gaze instantly locked onto me, desperately searching for any emotion beyond indifference on my face. Even pity would suffice. Shinseo, you must still be disoriented from waking up. We're nothing more than childhood neighbors. There's never been anything between us. My resolute voice rang out clearly, reaching every ear in the room. Qingyao, we truly are husband and wife. We were married. Shinseo seemed on the verge of breaking down, but I cut off whatever he was about to say. Thank you all for attending my engagement banquet with Peiyu today. There's one final ceremony we'd like you to witness. I took out the ring I'd prepared in advance and firmly slid it onto Peiyu's middle finger, far from being upset. Peiyu was beaming with joy. Peiyu carefully retrieved the engagement ring from his pocket, gently slipped it onto my finger, then gazed at me intently, his eyes brimming with adoration. Finally, Peiyu pressed a kiss to my lips and announced happily, Yao Yao and I will be married in 3 months. We'd love for everyone to come celebrate with us. With that, Peiyu tried to pull me home. Yao Yao, I made an engagement cake at home, a new flavor just for you to taste. Just as Peiyu and I were about to get in the car, Shinseo, who had somehow caught up, stopped us. Qingyao, I need to talk to you. Alone, I agreed. Shinseo and I walked about 10 paces away from the car. Let's talk here. I don't want Peiyu to worry about me. I turned back and saw Peiyu watching me. A flicker of embarrassment crossed Shinseo's face. Qingyao, you may not believe it, but we've been married for 6 years. You're my beloved wife. Beloved. You're the first man to call the wife he personally threw into the ocean beloved. Shinseo, who had been about to explain further, froze in place. You drowned me to be reborn. And you, how did you die? That's why I agreed to talk with Shinseo. If he'd lived peacefully in his past life, he wouldn't be standing here today. Qinke lied to me. It wasn't her who was terminally ill, it was Nian Jin. With his extended sentence, Nian Jin will die in prison without proper treatment. Qinke begged me to save him, but I refused, so he lured me to the rooftop. But Qingyao, my love for you is real. I was just too obsessed with believing every feeling I had for you was hatred. The moment I gave the order, I regretted it. I love you. I wanted to bring you back, but you were gone, nowhere to be found. Shinseo wept uncontrollably. It was the first time I'd heard him say I love you. Just as nauseating as I'd expected. You love me. What about Qinku? To love 2 people at once. Shinseo, you're truly remarkable. If someone keeps getting hurt by the same person, she might be kind, foolish, or weak, but the other one, pure evil. Everything happening to you now is exactly what you deserve. I won't be your pawn anymore. It's not manipulation. Qingyao, I've genuinely fallen for you. Shinseo must be truly out of his mind. I can't be bothered to waste words on him. The cake's frosting will collapse if we delay any longer. 10. I thought after our last conversation, when Shinseo learned about my past life memories, he'd finally stop pestering me, but to my surprise, he's clung to Peiyu and me like some stubborn adhesive plaster. Qingyao, no matter what happens, I'll never let go in this lifetime. You were my wife before, and you always will be. Qingyao, after all these years of your affection, you wouldn't just give up on me, would you? You're still holding a grudge, that's all. Qingyao, you can't marry anyone else. I'm the one who's meant to marry you. Could you find it in your heart to forgive me one more time? After Peiyu's shop got vandalized, Shinseo showed up in front of me and spewed all this disgusting nonsense. Peiyu was fuming and about to throw hands, but I stepped between them. Shinseo's face lit up with smug delight. He thought I was protecting him, never realizing I was actually shielding Peiyu's precious face. Hold your punches. If we bruise that face, how are we supposed to take wedding photos tomorrow? Peiyu always heeded my words. His clenched fist slowly uncurled and dropped to his side. But here, this is where Peiyu and I met, fell in love, and built our life together. That's exactly why Shinseo wants to tear it all down. I'll always cherish every moment with you. As for this place, let's wait until after we're married, then I'll help you redecorate it together. Alright. Peiyu let out a small, wounded sound before nuzzling into my arms like a dejected golden retriever. I soothingly patted Peiyu's fluffy head, but when my eyes met Shinseo's, my face twisted with undisguised irritation and disgust. The distance in your attitude pierced Shinseo's heart like an ice dagger. Shinseo, you claim to have plunged into that sea, then you must know the helplessness and suffocation of drowning in mine. I'll never forget that agony, and I'll never stop hating you. My hatred for Shinseo runs so deep that even after 6 years of accumulated grievances, I refuse to vent them at him now. Those were the clearest words I could muster. Any more conversation with him would turn my stomach. Heaven gave me a second chance not to repeat past mistakes. Besides, Shinseo was never husband material in my eyes. Just a despicable murderer. 11. Shinseo never showed his face again after that day, not for lack of trying. The Shin family had him completely shackled. The Song family snatched Shin's biggest contract, with their business already declining. This deal was Shin Group's lifeline, but the terms Song offered were beyond Shin's reach. Meanwhile, another major incident struck the Shin family. Shin Jifeng became paralyzed. The lifelong scoundrel was rushing to meet his mistress when an out-of-control truck plowed straight into him. Whether accident or foul play, nobody cared. After stabilizing his condition, doctors suggested sending Shin abroad for better treatment. Fang Yun took one look at her drooling husband, who could only roll his eyes in the hospital bed, and refused. My husband's ancestral legacy is here. The Shin family roots are here. He's going nowhere. Perhaps only at this moment did those two people outside the operating room finally understand each other's feelings. The day before the wedding, I made time to visit the prison. Chin Ku, that once beautiful girl, was now emaciated beyond recognition. The exposed skin on her hands still bore unhealed scars, likely Fang Yun's handiwork. In my past life, I'd resented Chin Ku somewhat. I'd been angry that my decade-long bond with Shinseo couldn't compare to some girl who appeared out of nowhere. But I'd forgotten, Shinseo had walked toward Chin Ku step by step himself. From beginning to end, Chin Ku never truly did anything to hurt me. I know prison life's been hard on you. Let me help. A wave of shame washed over me. For years I'd harbored this inexplicable resentment toward Chin Ku, blaming her for my misfortunes. Only now, having let go of that grudge, could I see she was just another victim of cruel fate. Chin Ku seemed taken aback by my offer, but managed a faint smile as she declined. Thank you, but please don't trouble yourself. Could you just tell me what day it is today? The 9th day of the 6th month. Around this same time 3 years ago, she and Yanjin's crew kidnapped Shinseo. That was the moment our fates diverged at this crossroads. Soon now, Miss Song, may I ask for one more favor? Go on. Ajin rests in the second small town beyond those mountains. There's an orphanage there. I built his grave on the little slope beside it. When I die, could you arrange for someone to bring me back to Ajin? The perpetual emptiness in Chin Ku's eyes softened with nostalgia. Alright, thank you. You're married. Chin Ku noticed the ring on my finger, her expression twisting with conflict. We're getting married tomorrow. We've known each other for 2 years. He's truly a wonderful man. Chin Ku's expression relaxed again. Congratulations. The next day, Peiyu and I held our wedding as planned. My parents kept a close eye on every arriving guest, terrified the Shin family might be plotting something to ruin this important day for me. But despite all precautions, an anonymous letter still found its way to my dressing room. As if anticipating my reluctance to open it, the letter lay bare on the table without any envelope. The handwriting was unmistakably Shinseo's. Qing Yao, I never imagined the day would come when I'd attend your wedding to someone else, even knowing you'd hate me more. I still came here determined to ruin this ceremony, but when I arrived, I recognized everything, the decorations, every detail chosen to your taste. Long ago, you once poured your heart into preparing such a wedding for me too. Back then, because of Chin Ku, I was never husband material, and the man I've become now, I'm even less worthy of being yours. I can't let you become an unhappy bride again on such an important day. Coming into this world, I thought heaven had given me a chance to make amends, but in truth, it was to make me live with the sins of my past. When I tried to recall those 6 years of marriage, all I remember are my cold words and your heartbreak. I've always wronged you, ruined your entire previous life, and now I dared to cling to you again in this one. You were right not to choose me. Qing Yao, I hope you never meet someone as wretched as me in your future. The dressing room door knocked. The bridesmaid came to remind the bride it was time to walk down the aisle. I tore the letter to shreds and tossed it where trash belongs, as I walked down the aisle in my flowing wedding dress. Peiyu's eyes were already red with tears before the officiant even spoke. 2 other loud sobs came from my parents in the crowd. Aside from those 3 crying a bit excessively, the wedding went smoothly without any hiccups until the very end. The spectators who came hoping for drama left disappointed when nothing juicy happened, and that lurking gaze from the shadows finally disappeared. Word soon spread through the circle that the recently recovered young master of the Shin family was leaving for abroad. Shinseo might be going for a leg treatment, to resume his interrupted studies, or perhaps never to return. Fang Yun left with the son she'd doted on all her life. As for Shin Jifeng, the family fortune had been liquidated by Fang Yun. Before their departure, his wife and son called all his mistresses. Yet when the time came, not a single person showed up, left with no choice. Fang Yin hired a caretaker for him. She'd pay the bills but wouldn't bother checking in. Extra, Qin Ke died shortly after being imprisoned. She took her own life by smashing her head against the wall. In life's final moments, memories truly flash before one's eyes like an unspooling reel. She saw Nianjin again. Qin Ke grew up as a fierce orphan in the institution. When bullied, she'd fight back twice as hard, malnourished for years. Qin Ke's frail frame doomed her to being pinned down in most fights. That day, she got into another brawl, this time over an egg. Outnumbered, Qin Ke smashed the egg violently against the ground and stomped on it with all her might. The clean egg now lay ruined in the filthy mud, utterly inedible. The furious crowd closed in, ready to beat Qin Ke to a pulp. With no time to grab a weapon, Qin Ke racked her brains for the least painful way to take the beating, but the blows never came. The new boy from the orphanage chased them off wielding a brick. Qin Ke vaguely remembered this strikingly handsome boy. Nianjin, was it? Unlike those street punks, Nianjin was slightly older and actually treated Qin Ke like a girl. With Nianjin's ruthless reputation, nobody dared mess with Qin Ke when she was around him. Qin Ke still offered to share her food with Nianjin, though he'd always refuse. Not only did Nianjin decline Qin Ke's food, he also refused the milk donated by the Shen family. In the end, Qin Ke drank both glasses of milk herself. Completely baffled why Nianjin would dislike something so wonderful, the Shen family's donations to this orphanage were just for polishing their public image. Qin Ke saw nothing wrong with that. As long as her belly was full, what did it matter whether their kindness was genuine? But when Nianjin later explained his hatred for the Shens, she too came to despise those sweet, fragrant glasses of milk. Unlike Qin Ke, Nianjin wasn't a child born to be abandoned. He had a mother who adored him. And 7 truly blissful years, Shenxiu's whisper carried over the sea breeze, crystal clear in my ears. Qin had no say in the matter. She was bound and delivered to that man's chamber. The man was married. When his wife discovered her husband of less than a month was already philandering, she stormed to Nianjin's mother. After beating her to a pulp, she banished the woman from Jincheng without a penny in compensation. So Nianjin's mother had to start doing odd jobs just days after giving birth. Without proper rest, the mother and son barely scraped by, but over time, accumulated health issues eventually broke her body down. Nianjin harbored no hatred toward anyone except that lawless bastard Shen and his unreasonable wife. When Qin Ke was 12, 15-year-old Nianjin left the orphanage on his own. Wait for me. Once I make enough money out there, I'll come back for you. After Nianjin left, Qin Ke clung to his promise, waiting day after day. 2 years later, Nianjin did return for her. Qin Ke left with him. Nianjin seemed to have made some real money, but his body bore countless new scars. He enrolled Qin Ke in the best schools and showered her with everything a girl her age could desire. He never dismissed Qin Ke's preferences. Whatever caught her fancy, he'd move heaven and earth to obtain. Under his care, Qin Ke flourished. And his blood-soaked days were nearly over, until his superiors dropped a catastrophic mess in his lap. A loan he guaranteed went south, and the final settlement left him liable for a staggering 9 million. Qin Ke's suicide attempt was finally discovered. Rushed to emergency care, her blood continued to trail behind her the entire way. She seemed to see Nianjin again, the version who'd boldly confronted Shenxiu and first raised his voice at her. And the blood-soaked Nianjin who'd urged her to flee. Story 2. After my uncle died in a car accident, my cousin suffered severe mental trauma and came to my home to recuperate. She fell in love with my boyfriend, and everyone told me to give him up for her. Even my boyfriend said, "Euro, she's already so pitiful. Why are you making things difficult for her?" Later, I was also in a car accident. While I was being resuscitated, my cousin sobbed in my boyfriend's arms. So many people care when she dies, yet no one notices me when I'm alive. I died in the operating room, and my cousin took my guaranteed admission spot and married my boyfriend. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the time when my cousin had just arrived at my home. Bitch, you killed my dad, and now you're stealing my boyfriend too. The moment I opened my eyes, a tremendous force pushed me against the wall. Mokuor was holding scissors, about to slash my face. I instinctively resisted, pushing Mokur away. The scissors flew out of her hand as she staggered back several steps before tumbling down the stairs. Her hand was scraped, blood dripping down. Mokur simply sat on the floor, covering her face and sobbing uncontrollably. The surrounding classmates stopped and curiously turned to look in this direction. "Son Euro, what are you doing?" the person rushing over is my boyfriend Jiang Yu. He helped Mokur up from the ground. Are you okay? Following closely behind Jiang Yu was my best friend Tang Xian. Seeing Jiang Yu like this, she was furious. Jiang Yu, are you blind? Mokur was the one who grabbed scissors first, trying to slash Song Yuro's face. Whose boyfriend are you really? Mokur can't tell, but you should know better. Perhaps Tang Xian's voice was too loud, as Mokur seemed startled, shrinking into Jiang Yu's arms and crying even harder. Jiang Yu frowned. Tang Xian, you know about Mokur's condition. After her father's sudden death, she developed severe psychological issues. How could you provoke her at a time like this? Don't you have even basic compassion? As if sensing protection, Mokur timidly tugged at Jiang Yu's sleeve and stubbornly repeated, "You're my boyfriend." Jiang Yu patted Mokur's head and said in a soothing tone, Mokur was satisfied. She glared at me and said triumphantly, "If I see you talking to Jiang Yu again, I won't be polite." Jiang Yu sighed. He gave me an apologetic look, then scooped Mokur up in his arms. "Your hand is injured. I'll take you to the hospital first." 2. How familiar this scene was. In my past life, I also watched Jiang Yu and Mokur leave like this. Back then, just like Tang Xian now, I was furious but utterly helpless. After all, Mokur was truly pitiful. My aunt passed away while giving birth to her, and she was raised by her uncle, who then died in a car accident during her senior year of high school. As a result, Mokur suffered severe psychological trauma and began experiencing intermittent episodes. To take care of her, my mother brought her to live with us. At first, I gave Mokur everything she wanted. When she asked for my room or my clothes, I agreed without hesitation, until one day, Jiang Yu came to visit our home. He's the heartthrob of our school and also the young master of the Jiang group. Mokur fell in love with him at first sight. "Sister, please give Jiang Yu to me." I rejected Mokur, but after that, whenever Jiang Yu was mentioned, she would become somewhat hysterical. She started believing that Jiang Yu was her boyfriend, and that I was the other woman trying to steal him away. Whenever she saw Jiang Yu going on a date with me, she would cry bitterly and even cut herself with a small knife. Later on a rainy night, when Jiang Yu and I were watching a movie outside, she frantically called me, saying she had been kidnapped. I rushed over in a state of panic and got into a car accident on the way. During the emergency treatment, my soul seemed to detach from my body and float outside the operating room. Mokur was sobbing while curled up in Jiang Yu's arms. I was just joking. I never thought she'd take it seriously. If Sister Yuro died, so many people would remember her, but while I'm alive, I only suffer. No one has ever cared about me. Jiang Yu couldn't help but hold her tighter. Who says no one cares? You still have me. After my death, Mokur's mental state seemed to improve significantly all at once. She recognized my parents as her own, took over my guaranteed admission spot, and went to Tsinghua University with Jiang Yu. During Qingming Festival, she burned joss paper for me and my uncle. "Dad, cousin, thank you for making this possible. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't even have gotten into a junior college. How could I be where I am today?" At that moment, my soul was suddenly awakened. Mokur was never ill. It was all just an elaborate scheme. A clear female voice came from beside me. "Do you want to start over?" Without hesitation, I replied, "Yes." When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day Mokur first transferred to our school. Watching Jiang Yu about to carry Mokur away, I suddenly strode forward and said in a deep voice, "Jiang Yu, we're breaking up." Jiang Yu's expression changed instantly. He frowned and said, "Yuro, don't be rash. I'm serious." I said calmly, "If you want to take care of Kur, then take good care of her. We're over." After speaking, I turned and walked away without looking back, ignoring Jiang Yu desperately calling my name behind me. 3. After school, I called Tang Xian to the coffee shop. "Does your father know someone in the traffic police department? I want to investigate the truth about my uncle's car accident." My uncle was an experienced truck driver. That day, everything seemed completely normal, yet he drove straight into a bridge pier. After hearing me out, Tang Xian got goosebumps. "Are you suggesting his death might not be accidental?" I remained silent. Uncle was a good man, not particularly capable, but fiercely independent. My family had offered financial help multiple times, but he always politely declined. After his death, Mokur was adopted by my family, moved into a spacious villa, and began living a life with chauffeurs and maids at her service. Everything is just speculation for now, but recalling the expression on Mokur's face when she mourned her father in her previous life, I can't help but think the worst. Tang Xian said it was no problem to leave it to her. She had just left when my phone rang. It was Jiang Yu. "Yuro, where are you? Let's talk." I had no intention of meeting Jiangyu. But he still managed to find this cafe, relying on his familiarity with me. Don't be angry, holding my favorite pistachio cream puff. He sat beside me. The only one I love is you. In my past life, I would have softened upon hearing such words, but now I just smiled coldly, holding Moker in your arms while loving me in your heart, double-minded as ever, truly worthy of young Master Jiang. Jiangyu grew somewhat angry. I was just acting with Moker to stabilize her emotions. You're her own cousin, seeing her so ill. Don't you feel compelled to do something? Doctors exist for her illness. Why should I need to do anything? I waved my hand. Enough, Jiangyu. Breaking up is best for both of us. I've already called the hotel to cancel the engagement venue preparations. Jiangyu was stunned, staring at me in disbelief. Are you serious? He immediately glared at me angrily. Song Euro. Engagement is a very serious matter. There's no need to joke about it just because you're upset with me. It's no wonder Jiangyu didn't believe it. After all, I had always loved him so much, wholeheartedly determined to go to Tsinghua University with him, with every plan for the future filled with thoughts of him. But now I don't want any of it anymore. One last time, I'm not joking, nor am I being petty. I met his gaze calmly. Breaking up, it's that simple, Jiangyu growled in a low voice. I don't agree. Before his words faded, a figure rushed into the cafe. Emokura grabbed the coffee from the table and splashed it on me with lightning speed. Bitch, she screamed. Before I could retaliate, she swayed and collapsed into Jiangyu's arms. Jiangyu held Emokura protectively with one hand while gripping me tightly with the other, his face drenched in sweat. Amid the chaos, I glanced behind the coffee shop counter. The boss secretly gave me an okay hand gesture. The corners of his mouth curled up silently. The owner of this coffee shop is my friend, and I just signaled him to turn on the camera. The entire episode of Emokura's outburst was recorded. This is my backup plan: prison or mental hospital. I must send her to one of them. 4. The day's farce ended with Jiangyu sending Emokura to the hospital. I went home alone and found no one there. Apparently, my parents received the call and went to the hospital to see Emokura. I sat in the unlit living room, quietly pondering for a while. In truth, my parents love me very much, but they are also extremely strict with me, always holding me to the highest standards. When I was little and had conflicts with other children, they would always make me apologize first, not to mention that this time, Moker appeared as the complete underdog in everyone's eyes, so whenever there was any conflict between me and her, they would always superficially take her side more. This time when they went to the hospital, Moker must have played the victim again, probably throwing a lot of mud at me. Sure enough, a little over an hour later, Mom and Dad came home with Moker. Mom was supporting the weak Moker, while Dad's face was as cold as ice. Come here. Dad called me. I clearly saw that behind him, Emokura appeared to be weakly nestling in Mom's arms, but in reality, a barely noticeable smile had crept onto the corners of her lips. Did you provoke Kura again? Dad's voice carried anger. You know perfectly well Kura is sick, yet you embarrassed her in public. When did you become someone so devoid of empathy? Look, Emokura is twisting the truth again. Clearly she was the one who rushed in and splashed coffee on me, yet now it's turned into me embarrassing her. If this were my past life, I would desperately defend myself, trying to prove I didn't do such a thing, but in this lifetime, I know self-justification is useless. What works is going crazy together with Mokura. Isn't it just pretending to be sick? If you can do it, so can I. Lowering my head silently, I said in a pained voice, I'm sorry, Dad, I know I've let you down. Then, I took out a thick document folder, emptied it, revealing a diagnosis report provided by a psychological counselor and a completed leave of absence application form. My parents' expressions changed abruptly, and even Emokura couldn't help but straighten her posture. My eyes were red and swollen as I helplessly pinched my own arm. Lately, I can't control my emotions at all, and I'm completely unable to focus when studying. If this continues, I feel like I might end up taking my own life. Parents have limited energy. They can't take care of both me and Kura at the same time. As the older sister, I should give way to her. So let Kura take the college entrance exam this year. I'll take a gap year. As soon as I finished speaking, Mom was the first to panic. This won't do. Dad was slightly calmer than Mom. He pulled her into the bedroom. The two lowered their voices, yet fragments of their conversation still reached us intermittently. Mom's voice trembled with tears. It's all my fault. I only thought Kura needed care, so I brought her home, but I never imagined it would affect Euro too. Dad comforted her. Don't blame yourself yet. What's important now is finding a proper solution. In the living room, Emokura glared at me with resentment. She picked up the psychological counseling diagnosis form I had placed on the table. Song Yuro, when did you go to the counseling center? This must be fake. I curled my lips slightly and whispered. You've never even been to a psychiatric department, just running your mouth. At least I have a fake certificate. The next second, our parents pushed the door open. I immediately put on a helpless expression. Please, stop blaming me. I'm willing to give Jiangyu and our parents to you. If that's still not enough, I'm ready to disappear from this world forever. Yuro, what are you saying? Mom rushed over and tightly grasped my hand. You must never think like that. Dad then came before Koer and said gently, here's the thing, we've discussed it and decided that our family has another house in the southern part of the city, which is closer to school. Koer, why don't you move there first? We'll hire a caregiver to look after you. Koer's eyes widened. Uncle, are you abandoning me? She immediately began to panic. Uncle, please, you're my only family left, don't cast me aside. Both parents comforted her together. Their tone extremely gentle but their stance unshakably firm. I sobbed quietly on the side, but inwardly sneered. In my past life, after I died in a car accident, my parents were utterly heartbroken. At that time, Emokura volunteered to become their daughter and care for them in their old age. Unaware of the truth, they agreed, but now, I'm still alive. Parents always favor their own flesh and blood. They couldn't just stand by and watch Emokura drive me to depression and suicide, just like that. Emokura was sent away from our home. She went around school playing the victim, claiming I kicked her out of the house. Classmates started calling me a wicked sister for treating a poor orphaned girl so cruelly. I couldn't even be bothered to respond. The college entrance exam was what truly mattered. These rumors meant nothing. After high school graduation, most people would never see each other again anyway. Jiangyu also confronted me. Kiki cried to me half the night yesterday. Was it really necessary to treat her like that? I buried myself in solving analytic geometry problems without even looking up. Jiangyu, we've already broken up. You don't seem to have any standing to criticize me. I never agreed to break up, Jiangyu said resolutely. The engagement is a matter between two families. How can you end it with just one sentence? Well, that's interesting. I put down my pen, looked up, and smiled meaningfully. So you're saying you're still my boyfriend? Since you're still my boyfriend, can you explain why Emokura was crying with you half the night, a man and woman alone together late at night? Who do you think is being more inappropriate here? Jiangyu was choked with anger. I only feel sympathy for Emokura. She's your cousin and also my classmate. I smiled without saying anything. Actually, there's a recording in my phone. It was during Jiangyu's gathering with his friends when one of them recorded it and sent it to me. In the recording, whether Jiangyu was drunk or not, he said in a smug voice, have you all watched The Heaven Sword and Dragon Saber? Don't you think Song Yuro is just like Xiao Min, and Emokura resembles Xiao Zhao? I sneered. What era is this? Still trying to play the red and white rose game? It's just that right now, I don't want to keep arguing with Jiangyu. Verbal disputes are useless. The more you argue with rotten people, the deeper you sink. What I want to seize is tangible benefits. 5. But Jiangyu is like a piece of chewed gum. Once it sticks, you can't shake it off. The school organized alumni from Tsinghua and Peking University to come back and give lectures, with the top 30 students in the grade attending. Coincidentally, Jiangyu happened to be sitting right next to me. Before the meeting started, he stopped me, seeming somewhat hesitant to speak. There's something I don't know how to bring up. Then don't. I tried to walk past him, but he blocked my way. Jiangyu gritted his teeth and finally spoke up. Could you give your guaranteed admission spot to Emokura? No, I didn't even bother to lift my eyelids as I tried to shake Jiangyu off. Jiangyu grew anxious, gripping my wrist tightly as he forcibly pulled me to the side of the corridor. Yuro, listen to me. Saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-story pagoda. Right now, you're the only one who can save Koer. Under my scrutinizing gaze, Jiangyu haltingly recounted the entire incident. It turned out Emokura had stirred up trouble again. She faked a suicide in the bathtub, then called Jiangyu, who broke down the door at the last moment before she lost consciousness and saved her. After enduring this melodrama straight out of an 80s tragic romance novel, Emokura tearfully told Jiangyu that if she couldn't attend the same school as him, she would die. As everyone knows, both Jiangyu and I have been recommended for admission to Tsinghua University. As for Emokura's grades, the gap to get into Tsinghua is probably about 400 points short. That's great, Jiangyu. I nodded. Since Emokura is determined to attend the same school as you, and you really want to make her wish come true, why don't, under Jiangyu's expectant gaze, I smiled at him and said, you tutor her. Although there's only 1 month left until the college entrance exams, perhaps heaven will be moved by your kindness and create a miracle. I turned and walked away, but Jiang Yu, furious, blocked my path in one swift step. Song Euro, do you even hear the nonsense you're saying? In Mokur's current state, how can she possibly take the college entrance exams normally? If you don't want to take the exams but still want to get into Tsinghua, then let's all stop studying and learn how to play the victim instead. I rolled my eyes. Please, just move aside. I need to attend the lecture. I finally shook off Jiang Yu and strode forward with long steps. Behind me, he said with a sinister tone, Song Euro, don't think I don't know. Her father's death was your doing. The words were so shocking that I couldn't help but stop in my tracks, turning back in astonishment. Kuer told me everything. That day, it was you who said you wanted to eat free-range chicken soup. Her father had just returned from driving and went out again to deliver the chicken to you. He was fatigued while driving, which led to the accident. Perhaps my expression was too unpleasant. Jiang Yu softened his tone. Of course, Euro, I know you didn't do it on purpose, but what's done is done. Kuer has become like this now, and you bear some responsibility. You should atone to Kuer. I remained silent as Jiang Yu stepped forward, trying to embrace me. Euro, I know you don't believe me, but I truly only feel pity for Mokur. She's your sister, and I treat her as one too. But in my heart, the one I love has always been you. Before Jiang Yu could finish speaking, a cold voice interrupted him. Classmate, you've been blocking this path for almost 10 minutes. When are you going to move? Jiang Yu and I turned our heads together. A girl in a white shirt stood not far away, with gold-rimmed glasses hanging on her chest, hands in her pockets, her expression somewhat aloof. I recognized her. She was one of the speakers for this lecture, Senior Su Shaoran, who went to Peking University. For some reason, the moment I heard her voice, I suddenly froze. When I was reborn, a voice whispered in my ear, do you want to start over? That voice was exactly the same as Su Shaoran's from just moments ago. Bro, this isn't working. The girl is clearly annoyed with you, yet you're still pestering her here. Behind Su Shaoran, a tall young man sauntered up with a carefree attitude. His face had an ageless quality, blending a man's mature features with a youth's clear-eyed freshness. A name tag pinned to his chest read, Alumni, Ji Zhao. In that instant, fragmented memories suddenly flooded my mind like scattered puzzle pieces. A strong intuition tells me I've seen these two people before. 6. Thanks to Su Shaoran and Ji Zhao, Jiang Yu couldn't continue pestering me. As soon as the lecture ended, I immediately bypassed the crowd and approached Su Shaoran. Senior, could I have your contact information? Su Shaoran studied me for a long time, then smiled. Didn't you get directly admitted to Tsinghua? I'm from Peking University. You should go find your Tsinghua seniors. I hesitated for a long time before finally asking tactfully, have we met before? The moment I spoke, Su Shaoran's expression changed. Ji Zhao, who had followed and now stood behind her, also showed a subtle shift in expression. At school, Su Shaoran asked with apparent calmness. I mustered the courage to shake my head. No, not at school. It was with people coming and going around us. I didn't dare speak too directly, so I hinted vaguely, by a riverside, with red lotuses on the opposite bank. One of you was on a boat, the other on the bridgehead. Before I could finish speaking, both Su Shaoran and Ji Zhao's expressions turned grave. You actually remembered, Su Shaoran murmured softly. This probably means you'll face many more trials ahead. She tore off a sticky note, wrote down a string of numbers, and handed it to me. Here, this is my WeChat. After Su Shaoran and Ji Zhao left, I added that WeChat account. The ID is very strange, called the Upstream Traveler. Before I could even say hello, a meme was thrown at me, followed by a few lines that gave me goosebumps. Whether a reborn person can survive depends on fate. Your current situation is very bad. You might die again. If there's danger, send a message to this WeChat. I held the phone, my fingertips trembling slightly. I've already avoided all the critical moments from my previous life. Could Mokur have some new trick up her sleeve to kill me? 7. I locked myself in my room and thought it over carefully all night, then decided to adjust my strategy appropriately. So when Jiang Yu called me again, instead of hanging up as usual, I answered. Jiang Yu seemed surprised, then let out a long sigh. Euro, you finally stopped giving me the cold shoulder. I tried hard to suppress the urge to roll my eyes and said calmly, what's the matter? Jiang Yu said, it's my birthday party on Friday. All the classmates will be there. Euro, you'll come to celebrate with me, right? All the classmates will be there. I let out a silent scoff and asked, will Mokur be coming too? Jiang Yu's throat felt a bit dry. Well, if you don't want to, no, That's not what I meant. I'll go celebrate your birthday with you. Hanging up the phone, I smiled faintly. Emo Kaur is quite something. She gets sick when told to study for college entrance exams, but miraculously recovers when invited to a party. But it's okay. I actually wanted to find an opportunity to observe her movements, so on Friday evening, I arrived on time for Jianyu's birthday party. The party was held in a private club's VIP room, with Jianyu naturally being the undisputed center of attention. Surrounded by everyone, Emo Kaur stood right beside him, clearly dressed up for the occasion with light makeup and wearing a Chanel suit. I narrowed my eyes slightly. That dress was mine. I had originally planned to wear this dress today, but couldn't find it in my closet. Even the housekeeper said she hadn't seen it, so I had to grab another set at the last minute. Never thought I'd see it on Mo Kaur. The Jian family is a prominent household. Jianyu's birthday banquet had networking undertones, with people from the business world constantly coming to toast the future young master. After toasting, they would glance at Mo Kaur beside Jianyu, and Mo Kaur would also greet them with a smile. I've long heard of Miss Song's excellence, and seeing her today truly lives up to her reputation. Our company has always been interested in collaborating with President Song. If possible, we hope Miss Song could put in a good word for us. This is the gift I prepared for Mrs. Song. Mo Kaur smiled broadly, indicating she would deliver both the message and the gift, but before she could take the gift box, a hand reached out from the side and snatched it first. That hand was, of course, mine. Taking the gift box, I smiled and nodded in thanks to the giver. My mother loves this brand of face cream the most. I'll thank you on her behalf first. The guests froze, sizing me up before hesitantly asking, "You are Song Euro?" I extended my hand gracefully to shake hands and greet the other person. The guests were completely baffled. And this young lady is? Everyone's gaze fell upon Emo Kaur, obviously, apart from our schoolmates. Everyone else had mistaken Mo Kaur for me. After all, I'm the one engaged to Jianyu, and the one who should be standing beside him at today's birthday banquet is me. Clearly, Mo Kaur has taken what doesn't belong to her. Before Mo Kaur could introduce herself, I cut in, "Uncle, you came to celebrate Jianyu's birthday and likely wanted to send a gift to the Song family through me. Now that both purposes are accomplished, why bother about who anyone else is?" As soon as I finished speaking, Emo Kaur's face instantly turned pale. The guest was also tactful. After all, he had favors to ask of my family, so he immediately chimed in, "Miss Song is absolutely right. I'm terribly sorry for mistaking you earlier." With such clear and eloquent speech, Miss Song is truly a lady of noble upbringing. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Emo Kaur so angry that her eyes turned red. She turned her head and ran out the door. That pitiful look was truly heartbreaking. I noticed Jianyu's expression filled with concern, clearly about to follow her. I grabbed him. "Fiancé, where are you going?" Jianyu angrily pushed my hand away. "Song Euro, is this really necessary? Emo Kaur is also part of your family, since you hadn't arrived yet. She was just helping to receive gifts. Why must you make sarcastic remarks about her in front of so many strangers?" I sneered. "That's right. Helping to receive gifts for me. Next. Will she be helping to stand by your side, helping to cut the cake with you, and maybe even helping to marry you in my place?" Jianyu frowned deeply. "Euro, I always thought you were a generous and graceful girl. How could you become like this?" With that, he left me behind and chased after her alone. Everyone turned to look at me. They all saw how the Jian family's crown prince had just abandoned his fiancée to chase after Emo Kaur. Emo Kaur, she must be feeling pretty smug, right? It's fine, let her enjoy her moment for a few days. After all, just moments ago, I had already grasped the clues I wanted to know. 8. That night, I received a text message from Emo Kaur. Inside was a photo of Jianyu lying on the bed, clothes half removed, eyes slightly closed. "He's with you, but the one he truly loves is me. Song Euro, you still lost." I looked at my phone and let out a mocking laugh. Do you know how to truly crush someone's spirit? It's when they think they're just one step away from success, you kick them straight down from the clouds. So I opened WeChat and posted a moment's update visible only to Jianyu. The content was a large bouquet of roses, captioned with, "Thank you for the flowers, I love them." After posting this update, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode and fell straight asleep. The next day was a weekend. When I woke up, there were over a dozen missed calls on my phone, all from Jianyu. Opening WeChat. Jianyu had already sent several screens worth of messages. "Song Euro, who sent you those flowers? You're my fiancé, yet you're still being ambiguous with other men outside. What would your parents think if they knew? How ridiculous." Jianyu seems to eternally lack the capacity for self-reflection, strict with others, lenient with himself. From this perspective, he and Emokura are truly well matched, but now, he's finally experiencing the stinging pain too. This is my reasoning: no matter how many times I tell Jiangyu to cancel the engagement, he'll only think I'm being petulant, but when there's a possibility I might fall for someone else, that's when he'll truly panic. When you're about to lose something, that thing suddenly becomes extraordinarily precious. Sure enough, after these few venting words, Jiangyu quickly began to make amends. I admit it was wrong of me to leave you at the birthday banquet. But there were reasons for it. You should understand me, Yuro. You'll never meet anyone who treats you better than I do. I deliberately didn't reply to these messages, intending to create a sense of crisis for Jiangyu. That night, Jiangyu waited outside my house holding roses the entire time. He even repeatedly questioned my housekeeper. Has any other guy come looking for Yuro recently? I waited until the perfect moment before finally letting him in. He waited outside the door for over 2 hours. Normally, he would have stormed off long ago, but this time, Jiangyu showed no trace of impatience on his face, even feeling a hint of relief when I finally let him in. You still can't let go of me, right? He handed the bouquet of roses into my arms. Endless coldness welled up in my heart, yet a smile hung on my lips. Of course, the joy of regaining what was lost filled Jiangyu's heart. And he began repeatedly confirming every detail of the engagement ceremony with me. Meanwhile, to compete with that love rival, Jiangyu forced me to take photos of the roses he gave me, along with the rings on both our hands, pressuring me to post another WeChat Moments update. I pretended to be reluctant. Oh, everyone will naturally find out at the engagement ceremony anyway. The more unwilling I appeared, the more insistent Jiangyu became. Not everyone will attend the engagement ceremony. You must post this WeChat Moments update. And so, seemingly coerced by Jiangyu, I posted this official relationship announcement on WeChat Moments. Very well, everything is within my expectations. Dear Emokura, what kind of mood are you in when you see this moment? If you want to take action, please do so as soon as possible. After all, the plan I've been weaving for so long is about to come to fruition. That night, after Jiangyu left, I made 3 phone calls. The first was to Su Xiaoran. I'd been frequently meeting her for coffee lately, and we'd become quite close friends. She sounded drowsy when answering, as if she was about to sleep. What do you want? Nothing. Just thought I should let you know since I stole your picture. Yes, that picture I posted on Moments for Jiangyu to see. The roses in it were actually sent by Su Xiaoran's boyfriend Ji Zhao. Su Xiaoran and I were eating out at the time. Ji Zhao had somehow offended her, but since he was out of town and couldn't apologize in person, he sent flowers instead to make amends. After hearing the whole story, Su Xiaoran was practically dying of laughter at Jianyu's antics, but she quickly composed herself. By provoking Emokura like this, she might retaliate with extreme measures. Are you prepared for that? It's no wonder Su Xiaoran was concerned. According to her, those who are reborn defy the will of heaven, making them less likely to be favored by good fortune. But I just smiled and said, of course. After ending the conversation with Su Xiaoran, I made another call to my best friend Tang Xian. How's the progress on that matter I asked you to handle this morning? Half an hour later, I hung up the phone call with Tang Xian, raising my hand to open Emokura's chat window. I stared at her profile picture. In this selfie, Emokura appeared so fragile, innocent, and charmingly pure, yet no one could imagine what kind of demon was hidden beneath this facade. I have many ways to make this demon die without a sound, but that's not enough. I want her exposed in broad daylight for all to see, then reduced to ashes, never to be reborn. 9. The days that followed seemed peaceful and beautiful. All arrangements for Jiangyu and my engagement were finalized, the guest list was drawn up, and invitations were sent out. Since the Jiang family had corporate promotional tasks recently, they even arranged a live broadcast for the engagement banquet, leveraging the buzz around the Jiangsong Alliance to promote their company's upcoming new product. Theoretically speaking, it was quite unethical for the Jiang family to exploit our marriage for corporate advertising by using public resources for private gain. My parents weren't happy about it either, but I gently persuaded them. Live streaming allows more people to witness this engagement ceremony. It's a good thing. That's right, the more viewers, the happier I am. Soon, the day of the engagement banquet arrived. With 3 hours left until the ceremony, I finished my makeup and was ready to change into my gown before being picked up by the driver to head to the venue. I asked the nanny, "Where's the evening gown?" The nanny handed me a glass of water. "It's downstairs, I'll go get it now. Have some water first, miss." 10 minutes later, the nanny pushed open the door. The room was completely silent. I lay on the ground with my eyes tightly shut, a fallen glass beside my hand, half its water drunk, the other half spilled on the floor. The nanny approached, tried nudging me, and called my name. I showed no response, clearly in a deep coma. The nanny let out a long sigh, picked up her phone, and sent a text message. Moments later, the bedroom door was pushed open again, and the person who entered was Emokur. She nudged me with the tip of her shoe and said coldly, €100, so you've come to this. Then, Emokur took out an envelope filled with money from her bag and shoved it to the nanny. Leave immediately, no matter who asks you later. Just say you know nothing. The nanny looked nervous. Miss Kaur, what are you going to do? None of your business, Mokur said coldly. The nanny still couldn't rest easy. Please don't do anything too extreme, or I'll be implicated too. Can you stop the nonsense? Mokur snapped irritably. Your son is still waiting for you at the hospital. The nanny didn't dare say anything more and hurried away with the money. Only Mokur and I remained in the room. She calmly removed the jewelry from me and adorned herself with it, then headed to the dressing room where she found the engagement dress I had prepared. Sis, you know what? I've always been jealous of you. We're children of the same pair of sisters. Yet you live in a grand villa while I'm stuck in a rundown apartment building. You're about to marry into a wealthy family. Everyone calls you Mrs. Jiang, while I'm stuck with a bunch of small-time thugs. This isn't fair, Emokur said while leisurely changing her clothes. After changing, she waited a moment longer until the roar of motorcycles sounded below, and a group of thuggish-looking men appeared downstairs. Mokur opened the door for them and briefly instructed. Follow the plan, strip off their clothes, take photos, and wait for my message. Once you receive it, send the photos to me. 10. Mokur left. Several tall men surrounded me. After waiting for over 10 minutes, the leader of the thugs, probably thinking the time was right, lit a cigarette and pointed at me. Strip her naked. Immediately, a man approached me. However, the moment he approached me, I suddenly snapped my eyes wide open, kicking him square in the groin. I staggered back amidst his ear-splitting scream. The men instantly sensed something amiss, but before they could flank me, two figures emerged from behind the screen in my room. I adore the Song family's interior style, Ji Zhao remarked wistfully. Let's decorate our future home like this after we're married, shall we? Su Shaoran snorted coldly. Who said anything about marrying you? I was speechless. Can you two help me solve this crisis first before showing off your love? Before my words even finished, Ji Zhao had already sprung into action. He swiftly darted in front of a man and grabbed him by the collar. The man roared, "Where did this little brat come from?" Ji Zhao narrowed his eyes, clearly displeased. Disrespecting elders. I don't like that. With that, he single-handedly lifted the man and slammed him onto a nearby cabinet. The other two men exchanged glances, drew spring knives from their coats, and charged at Ji Zhao from both sides. Ji Zhao sighed. Fighting in ancient times was more interesting. Modern kids don't have any martial arts skills at all. With that, he disarmed both men barehanded, kicking one into the restroom and hurling the other straight out the second-floor window. The last remaining gang leader was utterly terrified. Instinctively, he knew he couldn't fight Ji Zhao. This young man's movements clearly weren't those of a normal person, so he set his sights on Su Shaoran standing not far away. Su Shaoran had the typical appearance of a top student good girl, white shirt, white skirt, looking every bit the fragile model student. Ji Zhao's voice immediately distorted. Don't touch her. It was too late. The gang leader had already lunged at Su Shaoran, the sharp switchblade about to press against her neck. Su Shaoran calmly glanced at the thug, and in the next second, this model student raised the object in her hand, a brick. It smashed directly onto the thug's head. I told you not to mess with her. Ji Zhao stood aside, sighing helplessly with his hands in his pockets. She doesn't know her own strength. The thug collapsed to the ground, bleeding from all 7 orifices. Su Shaoran took out his phone and handed it to me. Everything unfolded pretty much as you predicted. I smiled faintly, just as Su Shaoran said. Everything went according to my plan, as early as Jiang Yu's birthday banquet. I had already suspected that our family's nanny had been bribed by Emokur. The reason was simple. The Chanel suit Emokur wore that day, apart from myself, only the nanny knew where it was kept, so I began quietly observing the nanny afterward and indeed discovered she was privately contacting Emokur. After confirming this suspicion, I became extremely wary of the nanny's every word and action, never truly consuming any food or drink she handed me. I secretly took the nanny's phone when she wasn't paying attention. Sure enough, under my constant provocation, Emokur decided to make her move on me today, so I contacted Su Shaoran and Ji Zhao in advance, asking them to set up an ambush at my place. This phone must be the one you used to contact Mokur, right? I said to the gang leader. He was lying on the ground, pinned under Jija's foot. He raised his head and glared at me angrily without saying a word. Mokur asked you to take nude photos of me, send them to her, and then she would publicly reveal them at the engagement ceremony. Am I right? The gang leader still remained silent. Resisting now is pointless. You trespassed into my home, drugged me, and intended to cause bodily harm. All of this is solid evidence. If you don't want to go to jail, then do as I say. I held the phone up to the gang leader's face. Unlock your phone. The gang leader turned his head away, ignoring me. Fingerprints should work too. Ji Zhao attempted to grab the gang leader's hand. However, the gangster did something no one expected. He stuck his thumb in his mouth and bit down hard, making it bleed profusely. In short, he wouldn't reveal the password, and he'd destroyed the fingerprint that could unlock the phone. Don't even think about impersonating me to contact Kur, he shouted, his voice laced with menace and a hint of smugness. I lowered my gaze to study him. After a moment, I smiled faintly. So that's how it is. You weren't bribed. You genuinely care for her. The gang leader, having had his feelings exposed, turned his head away to avoid my gaze. I smiled. So that's how it is. These troublemakers were all quite young, and in their eyes, Mokur must have seemed like a pure, unblemished jasmine flower. Even if this jasmine flower made them commit heinous acts, it must have been because she was wronged first and had no other choice. In that case, this should be easy to handle. I took out my phone and pulled up the recording I had just made. Mokur's voice rang out clearly. You're about to marry into wealth. Everyone calls you Mrs. Jiang, and me. I'm surrounded by a bunch of lowlifes. If my future means marrying such low-quality men, I'd rather die. The voice was cold and merciless, yet unmistakably Mokur's. The gang leader's body jerked violently. He raised his head and stared fixedly at my phone, his eyes bloodshot. Got it, you like her so much, but she's never thought highly of you. You're just a stepping stone to be used. Once she steps over you to latch onto the Jiang family's young master, she'll toss you aside. Now, think again. Do you want to cooperate with me or not? 11. Mokur stood in the hall, watching the lavishly dressed guests. She swallowed hard. Feeling inexplicably nervous, she took out her phone and sent a message to Shunzi. Is the video recorded? Send it over. Soon, a file was sent over. Mokur opened it but found it couldn't play properly. What's going on? It won't open. Shunzi's reply came quickly. It won't open on the phone. But aren't you going to connect to the big screen? The big screen can play it. A hint of unease rose in Mokur's heart, but she quickly suppressed this worry by force. Shunzi was the leader of these small-time hoodlums and also her biggest admirer. She had always promised Shunzi that once she scammed money from these rich people, she would marry him, so Shunzi obeyed her every word. If Shunzi says there's no problem, then there's no problem. So Mokur quietly approached the control panel. At this moment, the large screen was displaying some old photos of Jiang Yu and Song Yuro, with no one at the computer controlling the system. Mokur sat down and imported a video from her phone. Soon, all the guests would see Song Yuro's indecent video. Moreover, this engagement banquet was being live-streamed, meaning countless people would witness this scene. The Jiang family, being such a status-conscious clan, would never allow Song Yuro to set foot in their household again. Mokur imported the video and fiercely pressed the play button. 12. In the center of the auditorium, everyone turned their heads, drawn by the video that suddenly began playing on the large screen. With a frenzied smile, Mokur also turned her gaze toward the large screen. In the next second, her smile froze on her face. The video scene was set in a coffee shop. Jiang Yu and Song Yuro were originally talking when suddenly a disheveled girl rushed in. She threw a cup of coffee on Song Yuro, then collapsed into Jiang Yu's arms. Jiang Yu tried to protect the girl and even got into an argument with Song Yuro. The guests were already whispering among themselves, "Oh my god, what's going on here? Who is this woman? She seems mentally unstable. Why is Jiang Yu still protecting her? Could this girl be the other woman?" Soon, a customer noticed Mokur sitting by the computer. "Ah, isn't that the girl from the video?" Yes, that's her. What does this mean? She came here to play this kind of video. Is she trying to steal the groom?" Before Mokur could leave, Jiang Yu rushed forward and grabbed her. "Mokur, what are you doing?" Jiang Yu growled in a low voice. "Did you come here to ruin my engagement party on purpose?" Mokur's lips trembled. "Impossible. The video playing should have been the one Shunzi sent. It's not me. Please let me explain." Mokur didn't know what to do either, so she hastily grabbed her phone. "Someone sent me this video." Perhaps too flustered to find a scapegoat, or perhaps wanting to ask what was going on. In any case, Moker made a call to Shunzi. The familiar ringtone sounded from behind. Moker turned around abruptly, dressed in evening attire. I stood not far behind her, raising the object in my hand with a flourish. It was Shunzi's phone. The next second, I stepped onto the stage, took the microphone, and said, "Hello everyone, thank you all for attending my wedding. I believe you've just seen the video played by my cousin Moker. Clearly, this three-way relationship is a bit too crowded, making me seriously reconsider whether this engagement should proceed." Jiangyu shouted, "Song Euro, what are you doing? How many times have I told you? I only pity Mokur." I smiled slightly. "Oh, then next, I also have a video I'd like to play." I connected my phone to the large screen. Then, heavy breathing sounds echoed through the auditorium. In the scene, Mokur sits on the hospital bed, raising her teary eyes to Jiangyu. "Please, can you give me some redemption?" Jiangyu remained silent, closing his eyes as Mokur leaned in and kissed his lips. As if some boundary had suddenly been broken, Jiangyu abruptly pulled Mokur into a deeper kiss. The video clearly captures the sound of their rapid, heavy breathing. As the playback ended, the auditorium fell as silent as a graveyard. Jiangyu turned deathly pale. Mokur has mental illness. I was just assisting with the treatment." Before he could finish, Mokur jumped up. "No, I don't." Mokur's strategy was clear. She merely feigned illness at my home, relying on others' sympathy to survive. But today, in front of so many people, especially with the live broadcast, she absolutely couldn't admit to having a mental illness. Otherwise, not only would the Jiang family never allow Jiangyu to marry a mentally ill wife, but her future education and job prospects would also be affected. Mokur frantically pulled out her medical report from her bag. "Jiangyu, look, everything about me is normal." "That's great," someone interrupted her. Mokur looked up in shock and stared at me, holding the microphone. I smiled calmly and repeated, "That's great. I'm so glad you're completely normal. Otherwise I'd really be afraid you might escape criminal responsibility under the guise of mental illness." The next second, as if to confirm my words, the police burst through the door. Two female officers stepped forward, flanking Mokur on either side, and escorted her away. In the corner, my already shocked parents were utterly dumbfounded upon witnessing this scene. "Euro, what's going on here?" I looked to the side and saw Tang Xian, who had entered with the police, walking over to me. "Uncle and Aunt, Euro came to me several months ago, suspecting that Mokur's father's death wasn't as simple as it seemed. My dad looked into it and indeed found many suspicious points. For example, Mokur's father was clearly an experienced driver, yet that day he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, causing him to shatter the windshield upon hitting the bridge pier and be thrown from the car into the river. Moreover, Mokur didn't report her father missing for 48 hours, making the autopsy significantly more difficult by the time his body was found. However, through subsequent investigations, we still uncovered many clues. We discovered that the thermos in Mokur's father's car contained traces of hallucinogenic drugs, and Mokur had online purchase records for this type of drug several months before her father's accident. Mom's legs gave way, but luckily Dad caught her, the one we adopted and brought home. "Yes, he's a demon," I whispered. "Uncle repeatedly refused our family's financial support, living a frugal life with Mokur. He thought he was teaching her self-respect and independence, unaware that Mokur had long considered him an obstacle." Jiangyu, standing nearby, turned pale. He stepped forward, trembling, and said, "Euro, I was blind before, too kind-hearted." Without looking at him, I coldly replied, "Jiangyu, you were never blind. You're not kind-hearted, you're lustful, greedy, foolish, and have no principles." I took my parents and Tang Xian by the hand and walked away without turning back. "Don't come looking for me again, you're simply not worthy of me." 13. Epilogue. Later, the court's verdict on Mokur's patricide case caused a huge uproar. The Jiang family's reputation was completely ruined during that livestream. Jiangyu, once the illustrious heir of the Jiang group, became a universally despised scumbag and laughingstock. The Jiang family's business plummeted, and Jiangyu gradually developed mental issues. In the end, his parents took him and left the city. My academic journey progressed smoothly afterward, but the only odd thing was that I never saw Su Xiaoran and Ji Zhao again. I messaged the WeChat account named Time Traveler, but Su Xiaoran rarely replied, only occasionally sending me a voice message. "We have new work." Deep down, I had a vague idea of what their work entailed. After all, Su Xiaoran once created a small group chat with me and Ji Zhao, and I noticed Ji Zhao's WeChat ID was Soul Chaser. Our trio's group chat was named Work Group 018, Perhaps I was their client number 018. What I don't understand is that they provided me with so much assistance without charging me a single penny. What exactly is the compensation for their work? In the spring of the following year, many of my questions were finally answered. Su Shaoran sent me a text message. The content was just 4 words: want to eat grilled meat. 14. Large slices of fatty beef sprinkled with scallion sizzle on the copper grill, releasing an aromatic oil fragrance. Surrounding them are garlic-buttered mushrooms arranged like small bowls around the grill's edge, already exuding juices that bubble with a boiling sound. Su Shaoran picked up a piece of kimchi and chewed, finally finished the busy work. Even Spring Festival wasn't peaceful. Across the table, Ji Zhao was using scissors to cut open a molten lava steak with cheese filling. You've worked hard, dear, eat more meat. Su Shaoran rolled her eyes. Who's your dear? Get lost. She picked up a piece of grilled fatty beef and put it on my plate. What do you know about the two of us? I kept my head down, focusing on eating and playing dumb. What? About you two? I know you're from Peking University, but I don't think Ji Senior ever mentioned which school he's from. Su Shaoran waved her hand. No need to pretend, Junior. I know you're smart. Just say what you know, since it's come to this. I can't keep playing dumb. Senior Ji is a soul chaser. His ability should be sealing spirits. You're a time reverser. Your ability is time regression. I must have been revived thanks to you two saving me. Su Shaoran chewed on the fatty beef without speaking. Silence essentially meant confirmation. I should have been dead already. That river blooming with red lotuses was the river Styx, with one of you at the bridgehead and the other on the boat. At the bridgehead stands Senior Ji, responsible for guiding the souls back across the bridge. On the boat is Senior Su. You ferry those souls aboard and sail against the current. Su Shaoran listened silently until I finished, then took a sip of cola. Everything you said is correct, but there's one problem. For souls we've saved, we quietly provide assistance so they can survive after rebirth, but theoretically, these souls shouldn't recognize us. After returning to the living world, their memories of the river Styx are automatically erased. The two of them stared at me with piercing eyes. So, why do you remember me? How should I know? Their eyes didn't blink at all. Me? No, I'm really not playing dumb this time. I raised my hands in surrender. I'm just an ordinary mortal who had a savior complex in my past life and still gets pushed around in this one. Could you gods please stop asking me about your divine affairs? Su Shaoran glanced at Ji Zhao. She doesn't seem to be lying, Ji Zhao. She genuinely doesn't know. Forget it, it's not important. Su Shaoran waved her hand. The bottom line is, we saved you. And most importantly, the most important thing is that I still have this memory. I said, no. Su Shaoran shook her head. The most important thing is, you're still a rich woman. Me, I've decided to start a company. The underworld budget won't get approved, so I plan to find a sponsor in the human world. Su Shaoran said, you seem like a perfect fit. Me, you guys eat first. I'll take my leave. 15. Song Euro left. Ji Zhao grilled meat while leisurely teasing Su Shaoran. Well, failed to trick her. Su Shaoran said calmly, don't worry, she'll come back. Those bound by fate will ultimately return to the cycle of cause and effect. Sure enough, 3 minutes later, Song Euro lifted the curtain and sat back down again. I didn't say I've agreed to you yet, she said sternly. I'm just asking, what exactly is your business? If I invest, can I get my money back? 1 month later, in the alley, Song Euro looked at the tiny storefront with utter disdain. A tacky sign was placed at the entrance, reading wishing shop, 10 yen per try. I must be crazy. Song Euro muttered, I can't believe I'm investing in this thing. Su Shaoran stood beside her and said kindly, it's alright, that little investment is just a drop in the bucket for you. What do you mean a drop in the bucket? Song Euro exclaimed in frustration. Are you saying that for just 10 yuan, you'll help someone fulfill a wish? Are the abilities of you time turners and soul chasers really that cheap? What are you talking about? Su Shaoran said, baffled. The 10 yuan is just the price for making a wish. It means the guest can write their wish on a slip of paper for me. As for actually fulfilling the wish, that's a separate fee. By the way, let me introduce me, the shop manager, Ji Zhao, assistant manager. Song Euro sneered, a general without an army. You don't even have a single employee. Su Shaoran pointed at Song Euro. You, staff member. Song Euro, wait. Explain this clearly. Aren't I the investor? Why did I suddenly become a shop assistant? Following behind Jianyu was my best friend Tang Xian. The moment she saw Jianyu in this state, she couldn't contain her anger. Fine, I'm leaving. Consider this investment as good as throwing meat buns to a dog. The influential Miss Song was utterly helpless against Su Shaoran. Fuming, she turned and stormed off. Just as I stepped out of the shop, I bumped into a pale-faced girl. "Excuse me, is this a place where wishes come true?" The girl asked timidly. Song Euro froze.